what you're going to watch as we get the racing underway is very, very fast-paced racing. I mean, there'll be race, then race, then race. Every single race is less than a minute.
Yeah.
So if you throw it away in race 1, you've got one more chance to get one back and then go to a decider. If you throw it away in race 2, it's gone. You just go to bed.
Yep.
So the key is to just be consistent straight away, but they just have to jump straight in with no time to warm up. These guys are legends, though. They're all quite cool-headed individuals. Make sure you get in touch. Use the hashtag share that you're watching this, because this is a unique opportunity, and this is the beginning of something as we head towards Mexico. And we've recently had some great drivers announced for the actual Race of Champions in Mexico. And one particularly sweet matchup, which is quite close to my heart, is the resurgence of Team Germany. It's really nice to have Sebastian Vettel back, and he's with Mick Schumacher. Has been announced. So there's a few more maybe of the drivers that have been announced so far for Mexico.
Well, your mate Christopherson's coming back. He's going to be a real force to be reckoned with. And we're expecting to see more Formula One drivers being announced as well.
Okay.
We've got Tom Christensen, Mr. Le Mans, coming along, another mate
My good buddy,
yours and ours. But certainly the big name, Sebastian Vettel, missed Riyadh, had done many, many years before, and always said that he would come to Race of Champions to respect Michael, had raced alongside him for so long. And so Sebastian is back after one year where he missed it, but Team Germany still managed to win the Nations Cup without him.
So they're always going to be strong, aren't they?
Yeah, we're lovely to see how that relationship between Sebastian and Mick is after so many years of Michael. And Mick's there on merit. Remember, he won the F3 Championship.
Yeah. But it's nice because there's a mentor relationship which is going down through the generations, which is very special, and that's very much what Race of Champions is about, as well as completely mental, ridiculous, amazing racing action. And of course we've not been to Mexico before. Nope. And it's in that amazing, the Forest Sol, which of course is the baseball ground in the turn of the Mexico circuit, the Grand Prix circuit. And I was there earlier in the year, and it's a very special place to be, because you can imagine, people hitting home runs up into that grandstand. Well, we're going to have some of the greatest drivers in the world doing the racing equivalent of a home run.
Well, you tried that actually in Miami. They were also on a baseball pitch.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Wow, this is becoming a theme.
Yeah, amazing stadium, 25,000 seater in total. It's not a full rounded stadium like we're used to. It does have an end missing, which is where all the pop concerts are taking place, where you see the Formula One podium. In previous years, you had the Formula E podium there. We will have VIP areas along that end, but it's a much bigger space than we're used to. So we've got a bigger, faster, wider track. It's looking really spectacular. The other interesting thing from a building a track perspective is that the tarmac is already laid.
Yeah.
Now, for many years, we've gone into a football stadium, we've re-tarmacked the place.
While the caretaker cries in the corner, his lovely grass is being covered in metal, wood, then tarmac.
Yeah, exactly. This year, they don't have to do that, which means our surface is not billiard smooth. And it actually is a lot of broken tarmac, some off camber, some on camber. So we're really excited to see how that will change things. And we were there for the press day a couple of weeks back, and it really hosed it down.
Oh, right.
Which made it very, very interesting indeed, because there's surface changes. In fact, the first corner is through the Formula One television centre, which is painted in Bernie Ecclestone's famous paint, which makes it incredibly slippery.
Wow. So actually, like often, like back in the day of Race of Champions, it could favour someone who's used to mixed surfaces and isn't like a tarmac surface, a billiard ball smooth surface specialist. Someone, absolutely. For example, like Johan Kristoffersson could walk away with it, like he has done again with the World Rallycross Championship. It's someone who can adjust. You can feel the grip levels with their behind and with their foot, and just with one look of the eye. And Tom Christensen's great at that as well. They're a very talented bunch that will be at the Race of Champions in Mexico. If you've got any questions, by the way, feel free to hit us as comments on the screen. Have we got something coming in? Have we got a comment coming in?
Well, one of our drivers is on there, so he's watching at the same time. Unfortunately,
not one of the ones that's supposed to be driving in this first race.
No.
So while we wait for that to happen, let's see. Anything that's caught your eye there, Ben?
No comments at the moment that I can see at the top of the screen. But good evening to all of those that are on the stream and having a watch. We are just getting our drivers ready to get onto the track. We've announced that Ben Spanky and that Christian Kineski will be the first pairing. We're drawing the pairing out of my trusty helmet right here. I've taken all the padding out because it got very smelly a couple of weeks back when I was doing a race.
Is that actually your racing helmet?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
When was the last time you raced in it?
I did a 24-hour race in September.
And?
Got sweaty. Hence why it's got
I thought you were going to go, got
it.
second. No, got sweaty.
No. I did finish it because the practice race I did before I rolled.
Wow.
Very bad. Anyway, it's not about me. This holds
At the
name.
moment, it is. At the moment, it is about you and me. That is what is happening.
You never knew this was actually going to be a chat show, did you? This holds the names of all of our drivers. We haven't drawn them beforehand. They're all in here. We've taken 2 out. We've got the first 2 hopefully getting online. Maybe we've had a few issues.
Yeah, apologies for the technical hold-ups, but it's fine.
Once
Once the race starts, you'll be white knuckle ride, edge of your seats, watching for right through till the finish. And then just a reminder: 16 of the world's best gamers, sim racers, are waiting in the lobby. They'll race against each other in a first round knockout. Then the next 8 will go into a quarter-final, then semi-final, then the final. And after the final, 1 winner will race in Mexico. So there you go. That's how it breaks down. We've got our first matchup actually already with the names in place. The rest, all the drivers will be waiting in the lobby, kind of hoping. I imagine, do some of these, because these guys are from different platforms, do you get a sense that they'll be aware of each other's work? It's not like a classic circuit season where they kind of have rivals that they they'd know their tricks, or they can do mind games. I mean, these guys have come from all different platforms, so I guess they don't really know each other unless they've done their homework.
Yeah, no, exactly. So that's really an interesting thing. We've got different people supporting different people, and obviously there are teams involved in this. Certainly this last year, we've seen so many more big, proper Formula One teams getting involved in sim racing. Williams have got a fantastic fleet of drivers. Sauber as well, another really big player. McLaren and Mercedes. Mercedes pull strong but smaller. Mm-hmm. And those people will know their teammates, and they will support their teammates in different platforms, I would have thought. Right. So you'll be able to go and watch the Sauber driver competing in GT Sport and the Sauber driver competing in the Formula 1 2018 series. Yep. They'll know kind of that thing, but they won't have the experience of racing against each other.
Right.
And a lot of the crossover that we've seen over the last couple of years really has been driven by these huge games doing these massive events like Formula 1, like GT Sport, and that's drawn gamers away from other platforms and into those kind of well-marketed events, kind of like what we're doing here, kind of.
But I was lucky enough to be involved in the live stream of the Dirt finals back in May, and one of the guys in the 16 is Juna Pankinen, and he won. He was the world Dirt champion, and of course they were having entirely unexpected rally tracks thrown at them, and then a rallycross race. They had no idea. They were thrown into the unknown. I mean, you can practice and practice and practice, but that's a kind of self-generating platform, the game. So they were having to just adapt immediately.
Yeah, that's nice.
So the guys that are racing tonight, because most of you are watching while you're waiting to race, you know how much effort you've put in to practice this Beijing track. It won't be a lot. You'll know how much of a feel you've got for this KTM crossbow. You won't have a huge amount of experience of it. But are you ready? Because you need to be ready, and all eyes on this first race, which is about to get underway. We are promised that they are pulling up to the line and getting ready to race. And we can see the start line. We can see the start line. There is a car there rating. I think the engine's getting overheated. The tyres are getting cold.
They do actually have a setting called tyre blankets on Assetto Corsa, which keeps the tyres hot, because actually then some of these drivers tried without tyre blankets on. Right. Stone cold tyres going to the first corner, and it was really an ice rink. So we decided to give them tyre blankets on. Exactly. Understeer. Loads of all the other settings, of course, are off. Tyre temperature is real. Fuel is real, but it doesn't matter. They're only doing one lap.
They're not going to run out of fuel.
They're not going to run out of fuel. Weather is a balmy 26 degrees.
Wow, I wish it had been that in 2009 when we were there. Exactly. We woke up and it had snowed. I mean, it was insane.
It's not snowing today. Here we go. First race of the weekend, and we are racing. Konevsky. I think Konevsky may have jump-started.
So after all that, he might have got a little bit too hot under the collar.
So This then is...
It's just
Bence.
a lap of honour, really, for Bence.
Nice and easy. Doesn't need to do anything wrong. And Konevsky is going to have to do it once again. Get himself prepared. Make sure he does it. There is a car actually on the track. But Bence is being very slow. There's Konevsky. I'm not quite sure what he's doing there. And that's strange. It's kind of, we've seen that before where they've kind of chatted to each other on the racetrack. But I think... I'm not quite sure that was a jump start.
I think we were just testing the system then. I think we might go for a real race now. That I don't think that, because what with the system, the way that it works, if you see a car go up in a puff of smoke on the start line, that's our way of knowing that that was a jump start.
Yes.
In this case, I don't think that's what was happened. I think there was a glitch. He just disappeared. Yeah. So it wasn't like Harry Potter. It was. We just have to do it again.
We did get quite excited earlier when they did do a jump start. He just went up in smoke.
It was amazing. Yeah.
There was two options, basically. Make it as real as possible, and jump start means disqualification, or have a fake start so you can lean on an imaginary wall, and when it goes green, they go. And these guys are pros, so they shouldn't have that. Let's just, whilst we get reset up, let's just focus a bit on the qualifying, world qualifiers for you guys out there.
Yeah.
If you want to get involved, head over to raceofchampions.com. You can register online there. You do need a copy of Assetto Corsa. We will then provide you with a car and a track. You will be logged into a system that will record all of the laps that you're doing. We have leaderboards already on our system, and you can check out where you sit so far. A very complex qualifying progress, but
more of that later. Let's see how this goes. Race 1 underway. Watch out for those lights. So when those lights go out, the 6 lights, when they go out, we are racing.
This time it looks like
there's a long hold. Yes, clean start, but a better start on the outside in the white car.
And that is Christian Konevsky in the white car. Banksy is in the orange machine. We're focusing on him at the moment. It's quite clean and tidy in his first lap when he was doing a bit of a lap of honour. I think maybe he was a bit confused as to what was going on. This is where we get a chance to see what the comparison is between the two, and it's Konevsky who has the advantage. Big old slide.
Nice drift there.
And now that's half a lap. We've still got one more lap to go. Big lock up from Konevsky going into the very tight first corner on the inside track. Very tight for him. Much more flowing on the outside line for Bence Banky, but he is a second back after the first lap. Oh, a bit of oversteer from Konevsky. Coming to the line then, who's this going to be? We keep looking at Jean-Michel TV there, one of our cameramen. It's going to be Konevsky who
but he
takes
clips the wall.
No, Banksy takes it.
Despite clipping the wall on the final corner there, because there's a little bit too much understeer going into that final corner, but managed to do it. So that's a first blood to Bence.
I think so. I just need to verify exactly who was the finisher. I'm just looking down the replay below me. We've
got replays and everything.
It was Konevsky, I think, in the orange, who took victory.
We need to speak to the stewards to make sure.
The stewards are in the other room. We haven't got a chance to go across there. We'll get confirmation from our tech guys.
Who is Grand Marshal at the moment, anyway, on this?
Grand Marshal? Yeah. No, it's only a mini marshal. Lots of mini marshals.
Okay.
That was one of the things, actually, remembering back to the Race of Champions in Riyadh. It was really difficult to see who ended up taking victory right at the line there, because it always changes. They come through that final turn, one looks ahead of the other, and then that inside line always gives you more of an advantage.
I love it, yeah. But sometimes if someone gets the outside line right, they can power through that final corner and just slingshot out. So you could never second guess. Yeah. It was the person who had tested the very level of grip on the outside and went for maximum power out and would slingshot past, or the person who was tidy enough on the inside. So race 2, best of 3, remember?
Yep.
They're back on the line, and we've swapped them around now so that they each get a chance to do the other lane. So when those 6 lights go out, there's a hold.
Konevsky on the left-hand side in the white, and Banksy on the inside in the orange. Again, a good start from Konevsky. He was in the white last time, I'm pretty sure, so it was Banksy who took the victory. I think there was a glitch in our graphic at the end of that race. But now coming through the tighter outside line.
But that looks like real tiptoes, doesn't it? That they're going around there. But honestly, any more than that, and that will spin off. So they're exactly the right line.
Again, good advantage from Konevsky over the line for the first time. Slightly less than it was last time through. So Konevsky, just remember, he's in the white car. And Banksy in the orange. Again, and a second advantage. Konevsky looks like he may go through here, beating the EWTCR champion and the Slovakian going out at first blood, but coming through the final turn, the inside line for Banksy. It's going to be close once again, very close indeed, and I think the graphic says it's Banksy there. So there is a big offset on that first lap, isn't there?
Yeah,
wow.
massive. But that was super close. That was insanely close. I mean, we do see very close racing in eROC and in Race of Champions, but that was brilliantly close. And you can see that they're making tiny mistakes. So at the end of each race, they will know that if they hadn't made that little mistake, or that little mistake, they would be way ahead. You know, it's very, very fine margins here. And also, when you look back at it, everyone is going for maximum power off the start line, and is that the best strategy?
Yeah,
because if you feather the throttle a little bit, maybe you won't get that wheel spin and you might creep away better, but we'll see. I'm not trying to help the others with tactical advice because I don't know what I'm talking about, but if you watch that and you want to try feathering the throttle rather than going flat and off the line, then you might get an advantage.
Well,
just listen to Neil. You know.
Yeah, you've been down in the pits during practice and qualifying of a real Race of Champions. There's a lot of chat about the start.
Oh my goodness! Well, you know, everyone, they're racing drivers. All they want to do is win. And so they want to make sure that their car's tyres are as hot as everyone else's, that they've got the best car. And so said that car. It's like when you go karting with your friends. Someone always says they have the rubbish kart and someone says they have the best kart. And all the drivers believe that, but the cars are identical. They're completely imagining it, but they're going, I think he's got. So all of that's going on, and there's loads of strategy when they get to the start line, and they're kind of making sure they can see the lights, and because everyone says that, yeah, I go to Race of Champions for fun, it's for charity, we have a great time. When they put the helmet on and they sit behind the wheel of whatever the amazing paddock of cars that we provide them with, they just want to win, and it suddenly gets extremely serious, which sometimes for me down in the car changing area and in the pit lane means it gets serious for me as well, because I have to ask the awkward questions.
Now, I'm just looking up to my producer and presenter. Do we have a third race coming? Is it side by side?
So it was Bence. So well done. There we go.
Well done.
I'm sorry that Christian, thanks for playing, but you are first eliminated from our Invitational, and that means that Bence Banky, you will go through to the quarterfinals coming up very soon. Match 2.
Let's rattle on.
Let's go.
Because we're a bit delayed.
Yeah. Oh, really? I hadn't noticed.
Right. Joni Tomala from Finland. Here's
fantastic.
The first one.
Okay, so he is the PC Rallycross World Champion. And, you know, if in doubt, hire a Finn. Well, everything's fallen out of your helmet.
No.
Your helmet's spilling out everywhere.
We'll take that one.
So we've got a Finn.
Oh, Giorgio.
So Giorgio Mangano. Now, you know quite a lot about him.
Giorgio Mangano, part of the Williams esports team, won the GT Sport race in Germany at the start of the year in the Nürburgring. So a GT Sport driver versus a Project Cars Rallycross expert. Also, I should say that Joni is incredibly talented across all different platforms. He's done the Formula One 2018 as well.
Excuse me, I had to cough.
Yeah, we don't have any cough buttons.
No, we don't. No. We're live. We're all the way live.
Full
live.
You
can tell that this isn't pre-recorded because we'd have done it better.
That's live.
Excuse me coughing.
So that's really interesting.
So it's a really, really fascinating matchup. Giorgio Mangano from Italy and Joni Tormola from Finland. And they should be in the lobby getting ready to line up on the race. And I wonder, do you reckon they've been watching and trying to get anything, because they'll glean anything they can learn from watching the first matchup. Yeah. Do you think they've been watching? Yeah,
you'd want to. You certainly can see some names down here on the list. Jamie McLaurin is supporting Joni for the next one. Miguel is saying, what if Timmy Hansen comes to race on the next race in Mexico? He hasn't won anything. Oh, no, actually, didn't Timmy win the X... Do you mean Nitro? Yeah. The Nitro Circus. He won that, didn't he? So he can qualify as a champion to come to Race of Champions. Maybe not on this, though. Not this evening. But that is a great matchup. Hopefully it'll take a little less long to get them into the server and we can start racing. Who is it going to be? Tormola and Mangiano. Only representative for Williams this evening. Mangiano flying the flag for the whole of the Williams fleet. And of course, Williams manage Igor Fraga, who won GT Sport, the World Finals. And Igor is off to the FIA Gala this evening, so sadly couldn't join us.
Well, there you go. That's well, I think we can allow him that.
Yeah,
we can allow that because that's quite prestigious. But that's the level we're dealing with. These 16 drivers that we've got gamers are racing tonight are absolute top of the tree, and lots of people would love to be here in this Invitational lobby, and they're just not.
It's true that we've had quite a big response and lots of people emailing, and thank you to all of the gamers who have emailed us to say, please can I be involved. It's great to see your interest, and for all of them, I've said, head off to the World Qualifier. You definitely can be involved. Get those laps down on the leaderboard. And for 15 of these guys, if they want to come to Mexico, they'll have to do the same thing. There's only one prize. There's only one guaranteed spot. There are some wild cards, but there's only one guaranteed spot. So hopefully we can get that race sorted in a few moments' time. I think we are ready with cars heading to the grid.
Well, I can see the green flag is making its way towards the back of the grid. I can see the green flag is about to be waved. I think we are almost ready to go. Here we are.
Right, so for G2 then, Toppy and
versus
Mangiano.
Giorgio.
On the right-hand side then for G2 in the orange machine is Tormala, I think, and Giorgio Mangiano. Yes, we're following him on the white machine. Looks a little bit ragged under the bridge there. I tell you what,
it's scary. The bridge. The bridge is always scary because it's really low. When you're driving through there at speed, the walls creep in and the ceiling creeps down. So that's halfway round. That's really close. I think the outside's got it there.
Yeah, half a lap gone then. Half a second behind is Tormala, but Tormala is... we reckon there's almost a second difference in the two lanes. So when it comes back, I think Tormala has a slight advantage, unless he makes a mistake on this lap. We're watching him now in the orange machine. He has the inside line. He has the advantage, and it is going to be Tormala who takes race one ahead of Giorgio Mangiano.
And actually, that's quite a sizable margin.
Yep, that wasn't close, was it?
No, it was really, really good. So that's an absolute dominant performance. So I'm literally putting a 1 on Yoni's card there so that we know that he's got 1.
Good.
Analog. That's how I work. That's how I roll. Just old school. Just, you can't...
Old?
School.
Old school. Old school.
So so Yoni, nice play. Kitos is thank you, so that's irrelevant. Come on, vai Giorgio. You've got to fight back because now this is all or nothing for Giorgio.
Yes, exactly.
He's got potentially one race to save his chances of going through to the end of this show, and as we all have. But he's got one chance to get through to beat Yoni, and then there'll be a little mini final, the best of 3. So Giorgio, it's all up to you. No pressure.
Yeah, and just to explain to those who maybe aren't so familiar with gaming, some of these guys will have their gaming tags. So G2. We saw that bit on the graphic. That it corresponds to the team that he races with, G2. So Giorgio could have had Williams Giorgio, but he went with his name. But G2 is actually, we've got a couple of G2s. I think Aurélien Mallet also coming up, the Forza World Champion. He's from the G2 stable, so it'll be interesting to see how they get on. Right. Race 2 then. We need a win for Giorgio to continue this match. Giorgio on the left-hand side in the white car, a long hold. A very slow start, reaction times from both of them, but a great start from that orange machine. It really fired off the line.
Well, maybe they were listening to me, throttling, feathering the throttle rather than flat out. I'm an expert at these things. So look at that. This is where we get a real sense of how close it's going to be the next time they cross the start-finish line.
More of an advantage for Giorgio this time. But again, half a second is the difference. So perhaps it's going to be a similar difference at the end. We go on board to have a look to see how he's getting on, flicking through the gears. Let's look at the lines. Car's not rotating too much. Where is Giorgio? I'm not quite sure where they've gone. We've had a little issue. Here they come round the final turn. A bit of a slide on, and it is victory for G2.
Wow.
It is victory for Tormala, and he will go through then.
Wow.
Again.
Well played, Yoni. Bang, bang.
2-0.
1-1, yeah. 2-0. And Giorgio, ciao. Nicely played. Grazie. So, Yoni, you go through. So there we go. We can see how that breaks down in our grid. We already have quarterfinal 1 lined up. but we've still got a bunch of matches to get through before we get to there. But that's going to be a really interesting matchup, Banki versus Tormala, coming up soon. But let's get to match 3.
Match 3. Let's not put them all over the floor this time.
So I'm keeping the ones that are, oh, it doesn't matter. The graphics will do that.
There you go.
So that's Sally Santuk, the Sauber
AOR F1 champion.
Yeah, amazing.
Apex Online F1 champion. Probably racing from around the corner here because we are in London at the Motorsport Network studios. Thank you very much to them. And he will probably be at Veloce this evening.
So get yourself on the line there ready while we pick out who is going to be your opponent.
It's not his teammate.
Wow,
thankfully.
It's Michele D'Alessandro. So we've got another Italian against a Brit. So Michele D'Alessandro, your number has come up. You need to be on the start line and revving your engines as we speak. Now that's a very interesting matchup. I think they're quite evenly matched, those two.
Very, very different. Michele D'Alessandro absolutely dominated Formula Sim racing this year on R Factor 2. Absolutely killed the opposition. I think maybe double the points of the rest.
Right.
R Factor 2 is considered one of the most, I'm not going to upset lots of people out there, but one of the most realistic sims that exist.
Ben, you can't say that. You've upset me. No,
and various people who play iRacing and various people who play Assetto Corsa. But in terms of transferable skills, you would expect somebody like him to be able to jump into a real car and do his thing.
Right.
I had to work so hard to get Michele to do this.
Really?
Yep, because Michele was saying he was allergic to Assetto Corsa, and he would not, in a true Italian fashion, no, I will not play. So Michele D'Alessandro is one, Sally Soltank is the other, and we just need to get them into TeamSpeak, or off TeamSpeak and into the server, and then we can go racing. R Factor versus effectively an F1 gaming expert.
Right.
We've seen Sally and his brother in the Sauber Formula 1 team for the F1 esports. Obviously the biggest promoted esports event the motorsports have ever seen so far.
Yep.
Does that mean it's massively representative of real-life racing? Not necessarily, but certainly in the sim racing world, the place that every sim driver wanted to be, and actually a really respectable performance from the Sauber team over the last couple of months. Obviously, Brendan Lee, who won last year, was invited to the Race of Champions and did a really good performance. So there is the next match.
So what we're doing now is we're waiting to see who will line up in the semi-final against either Banki or Tormala. That's the position we're looking at now. This is the top half of the draw. So we are waiting to see between Soltunk and D'Alessandro which one of them is going to match up against our existing quarter-final. So exciting, edge of your seat stuff as they pull up to the line, getting ready to race. So again, keep in touch using the hashtag eROC 2019. This is the eROC Invitational. Share us, tell us where you're watching from, who you're rooting for, and you know what you play, what your times you think you'd be doing on this Beijing circuit. And then afterwards, of course, when we've finished with you, you'll be able to go and do it yourself.
Well, I've just seen that David Greco is watching. So
hello, David.
Hi, David. David is an incredibly well-known and very talented sim racer from back in the day when no one really knew what was going on. And he's kind of been working with Assetto Corsa and various other platforms behind the scenes, making cars in real life on sims, making sure they are as good as possible. And so great to have you on the stream, David. He's supporting Michele. Let's see how we get on. These names are all falling off the off the list completely. Apologies for the graphic at the bottom. Right.
Doesn't matter. Look at that. What a great start. That was a great start from the Italian, I think, on the inside in the yellow car.
No, I think that's Sally on the inside, and we're looking at Michele D'Alessandro in the white car. Again, just fluffing that corner, going under the bridge, so difficult, but now gets a lovely drift on through there. That really should be one corner, and he's doing it very nicely. You can see the cars moving around, and now coming to the line for the first time. Who's going to have the advantage? It's quite close across the line there, but there is definitely an offset on these two tracks. We now look at Sally.
So let's see.
So that's much better.
I think that the car on the outside has got a massive advantage. I think we're going to see a big win here. I think the car that is currently ahead there is going to take it by about a second and a half.
Wow, big one there for Sally Sullick. And he takes victory by 1.4 seconds over Michele D'Alessandro. That, for me, is a bit of a surprise that the gap is so large for Michele. The car looked like it was really moving around. Perhaps he was pushing a little bit too hard.
Yeah,
it didn't have the traction.
Yeah.
But to have that big an advantage after it was so close Well, you called it, actually. It was so close the first lap, and that swung the favour of the Sauber driver.
It extrapolates like that. If it looks close halfway, that means someone is going to have a big advantage.
Yeah.
That's the secret. The first time they cross the line, if they're neck and neck, that's a telltale sign that unless there's a big mistake, someone is going to walk away with about a second and a half, as we saw there. So that's first blood to Sally, which is very good. And we get to see them match up against it. And again, we reach the sudden death situation for Michele D'Alessandro, because he has to make sure that he wins this race, or he's just going home. I mean, he's probably already at home, but he stays at home. He doesn't. You know what I'm trying to say? He doesn't go any further in the competition.
Yes,
do you understand?
That's right.
You understand?
Yeah.
He's at home.
And actually, you brought up.
It's fine.
Neil, calm down.
He's at home.
Well, you brought up a really cool thing that all of these guys are racing at home or away from where we are here. Yeah, or the opposite Codemasters. Yeah. Right.
Here we go.
Second race.
Last chance saloon for Michele D'Alessandro.
Long hold on the lights once more. And no jump starting. They don't want to get disqualified, but again, a good start from Sally on the inside in the orange machine.
Much better start. You know, I think they've taken my advice in feathering the throttle.
Or put it in second gear to start.
Okay,
that's the other way of doing it. Much better corner from Michele there. Last time through, he was a bit messy here. Look at the line, though. Look at the steering. Just one input for the whole of this. It's really nicely driven. A little bit of understeer on the inside line there. And again, it's pretty close between the two, which I think perhaps means advantage to Sally.
Yeah, I think so too, but you know, he might make a mistake now. It may well be that this is the pressure on. But what I love is that the inside curbs there in Beijing, I remember that, these crossbows would really mount up onto them, and if the danger of going slightly over them is you would rip the tyre, so they have to be really careful on those big curbs on the inside.
And it is Sally who's won it. 2-0 to Sally Sullock, and for Sauber and for Veloce, that's a big win. Michele D'Alessandro, the champion from R-Factor 2, is out.
So what an upset that is. But also it means that, incredibly, we're seeing that it looks like it's domination. We've had clean sweeps every single time so far.
Yep.
Win the first race, win the second. So maybe it's a question of you get it right once, you get it right the second time. So very, very interesting. So even more pressure to win your first race than before, because you might think, oh, it's best of three. But you win the first race clearly affects how well you do with the second race. That's how that breaks down. Now, we have our first quarterfinal 2 entrant. We're about to find out who will be our quarterfinal 2 match 4 winner. So let's go to your helmet, please, Ben.
Here we go. And these beautiful cards we bought today. Oh, it's a big one. Mitchell de Jong.
Wow. Okay, so Mitchell de Jong is a genuine. You know, I've worked with him in the rallycross paddock. He's an actual rallycross driver in real life and an iRacing RX champion.
Yeah.
So he's the real deal.
He came second in the World Championship on iRacing as well, behind Martin Kroenke, and I think he was third in another of the iRacing Championships.
So let's find out who he's going to be up against in the last of the top half.
Oh, wow.
Wow, that is ridiculous. So he's up against Johnny Armstrong. John, who is, again, a real-life rally driver and also an amazing esports driver. He's the WRC the EWRC World Champion. He's also instrumental in instructing game developers how to make sure a rally car handles like a rally car, because he does both brilliantly. So that is a hell of a matchup.
I can't believe that's happened in the first round as well.
It would be great to, you know, you can imagine that would be a great final, but this kind of circuit isn't necessarily either of their discipline.
Yep.
They're quite, you know, comfortable on the loose stuff.
I like it loose.
As well as the tarmac. So
that was me being loose.
Was it? I liked it.
Yeah.
I liked it.
It's not my dance moves. So
it is your dance moves as well, Ben.
You've seen that too.
It's all of your moves. That is literally everything. It's all you've got. It's all you've got.
Do you know what? I really wish that this matchup was a little bit later on in the competition.
What, this match? Oh, I see.
No, this matchup, yeah. John Armstrong, but 2 pro drivers that have turned their hand to sim racing to further their careers. I think that's so cool. You know, Mitchell de Jong didn't have many options when GRC shut its doors, and he thought, right, I'm going to commit to iRacing properly. Went with a proper team, has done it very, very well. A first, a second, and a third across 3 different championships. He's committed to it like it's a proper pro series, and it is for these guys. And now he's going to match up against Johnny Armstrong. So,
and interestingly, you've got to say that the format of Race of Champions and hashtag eROC 2019, the format of very quick races, having to jump into a car, go flat out from 0 to 100 and then back to 0 again in a minute. That really suits a rallycross style driver, because those are short, sharp races. Someone who's more used to putting in a consistent, 30-lap race, or a rally stage through the forest where you see 300 different corners rather than the same corner 300 times. Do you think that the discipline of actual rallycross could be an advantage when it comes to something like eROC, where you've just got to deliver for 1 minute?
Yeah, I think we've seen it before.
Yep.
Johannes Kristoffersen came in last year into Riyadh without any experience of any of the cars and no experience of the racing, and still did incredibly well.
Well, let's see if that theory pays off or if it's complete nonsense as we watch Mitchell de Jong and Johnny Armstrong line up alongside each other in the Beijing Olympic Stadium, the Bird's Nest Stadium. Okay, the lights have got to go red and then go out, and then they will be racing. Their hearts will be pounding now. I love it. I love this. Oh!
Was that a jump start? Was that an issue? Mitchell de Jong has headed off. John Armstrong, it is, who's disappeared. We'll get confirmation whether that was an issue for John Armstrong, or indeed he did hit the throttle a bit early and jump start, in which case he's handed it to Mitchell de Jong.
We're hearing from the stewards it's definitely a jump start.
Oh, John! That's disastrous. He's been so excited about this since he won the WRC back in August. Mitchell de Jong is just showing how it's done, and we can follow just how beautiful it looks.
It's a lap of honour here, and this means that Mitch has got a chance to really... Oh,
on the handbrake. Do you see the handbrake? The rear wheel's locked up.
But you see, he's getting a chance to push his own limits. He knows that the pressure is off, so he goes, oh, can I push there? No, I can't. So he won't do that next time, and the pressure is now massively on John. I tell you what he should have done there. He should have listened to his spotter. Don't jump the start. Listen to your spotter, don't cut the corners. That's an in-joke for anyone who plays Dirt Rally or Dirt 4.
Oh, because you're the
I'm
spotter.
The spotter
Yes,
and John is one of the drivers. Come on! Are you with me? Is this thing working? Okay, so bad start to John Armstrong. Wow, I mean, and considering the way that the competition has gone so far, that every single race has gone, a clean sweep. Race 1, race 2, bang. It hasn't gone to the decider yet. So is that the pattern going to continue, or is John just going to have to suck it all up and just deliver the lap of a lifetime and then make it through to a decider? That's what we're looking for now. That
time that Mitchell did, I know we had a bit of an error, but it was a 51.8. We've seen times on the low
sub
50s.
50. Yeah,
so
we saw one sub 50.
Yeah, it was only one sub 50.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it was 49.8.
Yeah, so that's a big old difference. So Mitchell does need to find some time if he's going to be able to progress further in the competition. But
I think it was smart. I think he was playing. I think he was testing his limits. It's a very smart thing to do. Wise head, kind of realize that you've got a complete free pass. It doesn't matter. You can just push your limits, hit a wall, go to the shops, and then decide, oh yeah, that's how I do it. And then so he can be ready. Whereas John, pressure's on. He's got to win this race. And also he hasn't had, one full race to experiment and do a bit of testing. So
and he was
no
a bit
pressure,
short.
Johnny boy, no pressure.
He was a bit short on testing as well, because he's not at home back in Ireland. He is over in the UK working for Codemasters.
Yeah,
and
in the Midlands. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, he's having been practicing in his evenings off, effectively. So he's. Are
you making excuses for Johnny Armstrong? Come on.
I kind of am, aren't I?
Yeah, you are. No, I reckon he's going to come back here, and we're going to have our first decider of the night.
Armstrong is on the left-hand side in the white car. Off we go.
He did leave a little pause there just to make sure he didn't jump start, which was interesting. So he's clearly playing cautious, but now is he going to go flat out?
Well, there's Mitchell de Jong can be really cautious, because he doesn't need to win this. He doesn't need to push hard. He's already got one in the bag. This is all on John Armstrong. It's all pressure on the Brit. And he comes through on the inside line for the half a lap, and it's not enough an advantage. Look, there's only 0.3 of a second between the two of them.
At the moment, this is looking like it's going with the pattern of the night, the clean sweep. So John Armstrong has got... Oh, no, but that's exactly what happened in the first lap. In the first race, when he was on his own.
Yeah, clumsy. That's really the tricky corner, isn't it? Just before the bridge. We've seen lots of people really struggling there, but Mitchell de Jong is just going to be the stronger driver. It's going to be 2-0 to Mitchell de Jong.
Wow. So
and a 49.8 as well. That's a fast time.
That's almost like I predicted that time, because I said the 49.8 is the quickest we've had, and there we go. So incredible. Again, we did not predict this, but every single race so far, the entire top half of the draw has gone to without a decider. They're not needing the best of three. It's a real shame to see Johnny Armstrong go. He's out.
Yeah, thank you very much, Johnny, for being part of it. He's been communicating a lot with me over the last couple of weeks, so really good to have you with us, and I hope you can enjoy the rest of the competition. Let's fire on then.
Wow, so let's get to the bottom half of the draw. So we've already eliminated 4 of the best gamers in the world. Let's eliminate some more because we like it. So first up, we've got another Brit. It's James Baldwin. From Great Britain, and who is he up against?
And he's going to be racing
Nuno Pinto. So give us a little background on these two guys. So Portuguese, Nuno Pinto.
Yeah, Nuno Pinto is the R Factor 2 McLaren Shadow finalist, so representing R Factor 2 for McLaren Shadow, went fast pass directly into the final, which is happening in January. If he does win this competition, he's going to have a busy week because the McLaren finals at the start of the Race of Champions week.
Oh, he'll be match fit. That's amazing.
He's properly match fit.
Loads of seat time.
Absolutely. But R Factor 2, we've already seen the Michele De Alessandro didn't cope well.
Yeah.
So what about James Baldwin, Veloce driver? James, Renault champion this year, doesn't necessarily have the experience on Assetto Corsa, but really a strong pedaler. He's also got some proper real-life racing experience in Formula Ford back in the day.
Good knowledge.
So this will be really interesting. Again, great work from Veloce and Sauber, and great support, and thank you to the guys there. Let's fingers crossed for James, but also for Nuno. He's one of the elder guys in this competition, Nuno Pinto. Does it for the love, does it for the... Because he's never been able to be a real-life racing driver.
Okay.
This is his way of satisfying that urge when he can. And
well,
there's so many out there like that.
It is real life. It's not a fantasy.
No.
Let's get ready to race. Let's go to the start line. Okay. We're in Beijing. It was a Bohemian Rhapsody reference, yes. Because you remind me of Freddie Mercury. The best thing to do here is to just eyes down and watch the lights go out and see who's going to win between James Baldwin and Nuno Pinto.
So Nuno is on the left-hand side. James Baldwin on the right-hand side. Looks like a better start again from the inside line on that orange machine. But Nuno has that really fast outside line. Now you got to get the anchors on because that's a horrible corner that Michel Mouton designed back in 2009. All the tracks of Race of Champions designed by Michel Mouton across the years.
Legend.
And now they, indeed, and now they come together, and I'm sure that's massive advantage
to
the outside
huge.
line for James Baldwin.
Baldwin's way ahead. He's streets ahead. He's practically all the way out of Beijing by now. That's amazing. And what's deceptive about that corner is the sort of kink. You think you can go flat through that because you can flatten out that sort of double left-right kink, but that just gives you way too much speed into the left-hander to go under the bridge. So clearly avoided any errors there and absolutely romped away with it.
Baldwin takes the victory by over a second from Pinto.
49.2.
Whew.
That was a very quick race.
That was a very quick race. 49.2.
Good time, James.
Yeah, that's about 0.2 of a second off the fastest time on our leaderboard right now because our leaderboard is open.
Okay.
And we've had about 20 guys already registered.
Can I go and play?
Yeah, bye, Neil. Actually, there's one parked up just off stage here. It's not plugged in. But you can set a time right now. But stick with us on the stream and then go and do it for the rest of the evening and get those practice laps in. The fastest, some of the fastest guys around the world will be qualifying directly into our final in January. There's a bit of a lengthy process. There's an opportunity, if you don't like Beijing, for another track in the middle of December and January. The times will be combined to get some other things, and it's very complicated. We'll show you a video a bit later on about how.
Don't forget, free unlimited laps at the moment. Free unlimited laps. So once you've signed in, that's just an absolute gold mine just to get going, get practicing, and get racing. And of course, can't wait to have a crack at Mexico. You know, eventually.
Yeah, that'd be so cool.
Oh, amazing. Okay, so now we've got to see who will, if we're going to go with the pattern of the night. Will James Baldwin make it 2 out of 2 and send Nuno home? He's already at home. Don't panic.
Who knows?
Who knows?
I don't know if James might be at the Veloce Studios because they have a really cool hub where they can do lots of training and they've got all sorts of things going on there. A great setup by Rupert Svensson-Cook, Jack Clark, both ex-professional racing drivers, and Jamie McLaurin.
Here we go.
James Baldwin with the advantage, but a better start. No, again, a better start from James Baldwin on the inside line there, I think. With we follow Nuno Pinto around the outside line.
It was an insane launch. He just launched off there like a rocket. It was awesome.
Much nicer. Got the car slowed down into the corner.
That's the way to do that corner.
Absolutely. Now he can carry the momentum.
Learn from race 1. That's the secret. Do well in race 1.
Beautiful.
Get it right in race 2.
Beautiful, but Baldwin has just been so much faster on that outside line.
Again, Baldwin's walking away with this. Come on, Nuno. What can you do in this last half race?
Let's see what James Baldwin does through here then. Gets that right, down to about just 40 kilometers an hour. Race of Champions has never been about speed. It's about precision. It's about car handling and getting the car moving underneath you. And James Baldwin has had this absolutely nailed from the start.
Wow.
Again, a 48.9. It's the fastest time of the night, and he absolutely destroys Nuno Pinto there.
Well,
good night, Portugal.
Obrigado, Nuno. Thank you very much for playing, but it's time for you to go home. You're at home. Everything's fine.
So there we go.
James Baldwin goes through.
Yeah, and the first of our quarterfinal 3 contenders then. As we rattle on, we are a little behind time, so excuse us if we are...
but this is entertaining.
Isn't it?
Yeah, we can take up a bit more of your time. I'm sure you don't mind. Is anyone going to take it to a decider? Is Michael Schmidl going to take it to a decider? All the way from the Czech Republic.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit more about Michael.
Michael is the nomination from Team Redline. Some of the teams actually had the opportunity to nominate drivers. Virtual GP is, again, a very realistic... They pride themselves on being the most realistic because they actually have teams and team managers and engineers and development drivers working alongside the real drivers for the performance. He's the champion of that from the Czech Republic.
Okay. So a formidable driver.
Very interesting to see how Michael gets along. Joona Pankkonen is completely the other end of the scale.
Wow.
Dirt champion, you know him.
Very young.
Very young.
Very, very young. Finnish, not particularly talkative, but someone who just, Finnish. But yeah, he won the Dirt World Champs back in May. And just an absolute precise, where there's a fin, there's a shark. And he's definitely a shark. Joona Pankkonen versus Michael Schmidt. Now, that is a very interesting matchup.
Yeah, from 2 very different worlds, completely.
Well, Finland and Czech Republic.
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you mean, racing-wise.
I'm
doing my best here.
I don't know if I can handle this.
You're being Beyonce now. You really do remind me of Beyonce, actually.
It's my booty. So, let's get back to the racing.
Can we?
Do
we have to?
Take him away.
Have we got racing ready? Are they okay?
Oh, we need racing ready. It's already getting silly, and we're not even halfway through yet. Dirt racing. You know about dirt racing. You've done a lot of dirt racing.
Yeah. I mean,
you're on it.
I'm on the game.
You're
I'm the spotter on the game. But I mean, as the Dirt Champs was one of my first experiences. Apart from Riyadh, we did the eROC, and that was incredible. Then the Dirt World Champs was just brilliant because it just drew a huge crowd, and people came to Silverstone for the inaugural Speed Machine Festival, which was also the round of the World Rallycross Championship and the America's Rallycross Championship. But it was for a lot of people, the draw was the final of the Dirt World Champs, and to watch Joona sort of deliver the performance that he did under that pressure, under the world spotlight, live streamed globally, like this is, he absolutely delivered, and he was really young, and his mum was there, and she was really young. So that's how young he was. He had a young mum. And Michael Schmidl, as you say, absolute top of the game, but on a very different discipline.
And Team Redline, we spoke a little bit about earlier on, and a huge team, incredible talent, breadth of talent, quite a lot of real professional racing drivers. If you go on Team Redline's website, they're on there as well.
Wow. Like
Max Verstappen, Lando Norris, people like that. They like to be associated to Team Redline because Team Redline has that association of being they would like to think themselves as the most professional of all the professional teams out there. Mm-hmm. They are certainly one of the oldest, and probably established the whole concept of having teams.
But you don't get people like Lando and Max aligning themselves with a team like that just randomly. That shows the heritage. So
Michael versus Oscaro Joona P. He's got the branding in as well. Team Oscaro running Joona P, a massive team that we had represented last year at the eROC Champions with Kevin Luen, who's the team manager. And let's see how Joona gets on beside Michael. It's Michael on the right-hand side in the orange machine, but a better start, I think, this time in the white machine from Joona.
Joona's ready for this. He's in the white car, and let's just see if he gets this right. I think he's on for a very quick time, and he got that absolutely right.
Yeah, absolutely. Look really, really tidy through there, and again, hitting all the apexes, carrying... Is he carrying enough speed, though? Is it just too tidy? He's certainly got an advantage as he comes towards the line. How much of an advantage?
That's the split we expect to see when it's going to be close.
Yes.
When they cross the line for the final time in a moment. So this is going to be close.
Michael, nice and tidy. Bit of a drift on, got the throttle down under the bridge. Not using all the track there from Unip. Probably could have used a bit more on the exit, got the throttle down earlier. It is close though. I think just on the inside line, Mikhail's going to have the advantage. It's 1 to Mikhail, but only a half a second difference between the two of them. And there was glimmers in there that Una can take it to Mikhail, definitely.
Yeah. Now, we didn't see. I wonder if Una made a mistake because his first half lap was outstanding, and we saw that he didn't look like he was making any mistakes, but maybe he just wasn't pushing hard enough. Maybe he wasn't, he was at like 98%, and Mikhail was maybe at 100% or 105. But however many percent he was doing, it was better percent.
I don't know. I just don't know. It's such a difficult balancing act when you've got 50 seconds to prove yourself. How close to the edge you can get with barriers everywhere. There is no room for error. It's really such a tough discipline race of champions. And to put it in a sim racing world just amplifies that with the pressure of these guys.
It's heartbreaking. I mean, I've been there so many times where someone has gone all the way to a race of champions event and been knocked out in their very first round. They're like, okay, I'm glad I'm going to hang around and have fun with these guys, but I wanted to race more, and I had 1 minute on track, and now I'm out. And that's how brutal it is, and this guy's going through exactly that right now. And the most important thing now is to see if Una can fight back, because, again, he could easily just be going home. He is home, it's fine.
Who knows? Right, 5 lights. Is it a long hold? It is a long hold. Una is on the outside line. And again, it's a pretty equal start between the two of them. Una in the white, Mikhail in the orange. And just using a bit more curb. These curbs are brutal though. You just don't want to get anywhere near them. It just unsettles the car too much. Again, more track could have been used there as we go on board with Mikhail. And let's see what it looks like as they come towards the line for the first time.
Interesting change of gear there, right mid-corner.
Again, half a second split, exactly like we saw in the last race. Advantage Una, but is it enough to take victory? Again, tidy as she does it through that bridge section. Una needs to get on the power earlier there. You're almost encouraging him to push forward.
No, I don't think he's done it. I don't think Una's done it.
It's going to be 2-0 then to Mikhail.
Incredible.
And Una P is out of it. Shame for Ascaro, shame for Dirt, and for the World Rallycross Championship.
Yeah, unlucky Una. Time to go home. He's home. He's fine. I'll stop doing that now.
How many times do you use that joke?
Mikhail Smidl then goes through. He's our next quarter-finalist, which means that we are filling up. We're getting closer to having a full roster of quarter-finalists ready. So we're getting up to match 7 now on the right-hand side of the draw. So who will be our next contender, please? Mr. Ben Constanduros.
Thank you very much, Jessica Bull, for saying we're entertaining.
Oh. Thanks, Jessica.
You. Thanks very much.
We're available for parties, bar mitzvahs, weddings, and esports events, mainly.
Big one.
Big one? Oh, I thought you were talking to me.
No, you're not big.
Aurelian. We could be any size. There's no sense of scale. I mean, we could be enormous, depending on what screen you're watching us on. Aurelian Mallet.
Yes, Forza world champion. Not once, not twice, but something like 8 times. Aurelian is...
Forza, by the way.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Yeah, go on then.
There's no T in it.
Go on then, Aurelian.
Against Ibrahim from Bahrain, one of our international competitors.
Wow.
They're all international, but all the way from Bahrain. Very recently, Ibrahim won the McLaren Shadow Middle Eastern Challenge. That was a big arena tournament inside a massive mall in Bahrain, and won on his home surface, his home country, where he lives, and against Aurelien Mallet. Interesting one, because Ibrahim probably has the experience of the more sim aspects.
Right.
Forza isn't considered particularly sim, but Aurelien has massive experience, not just on Forza, but because he's won Forza so many times, he's had the ability to do things like McLaren Fastest Gamer and other things, which has put him in different situations with steering wheels in real life. Normally, he's a pad gamer.
Oh, right. Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So adapting to the seat and everything is a big step.
Yeah, I don't know actually whether he's got a steering wheel and pedal set for this evening.
Let us know. Tell us.
I'm sure he's won lots over his career in terms of
eBay
stuff.
Exactly. So Ibrahim Amoubarak now lining up against Aurelien Mallet. It's France versus Bahrain, and it's very, very close to getting to the very nitty-gritty. So we've nearly got rid of 8 of our 16 invitationals. We'll get down to 8, then it's the quarterfinals. Again, they will be best of 3. But we want to see if this is going to buck the trend of a clean sweep. that whoever wins the first race wins the second. Now, I've not seen this before. It very rarely happens in Race of Champions. I've not seen it in eROC, and I've not really seen it in any other format like this where it's that metronomic. Win race 1, win race 2. Win race 1, win race 2. So let's hope that this bucks the trend and we actually go to that crucial and scary decider.
Hello also to Jarno Opner, who is a Formula Renault 2-litre driver, who is watching. There's quite a few people who have popped up on my stream who have been watching.
Very good.
And, of course, Orlin Mallet, we have him on our card as. He is G2 Lang, for those of you who know your sim racing. Another G2 driver, very, very famous, very well respected. That name, his face, but maybe you don't know him as Aurelien Mallet so much.
Wow, okay.
That's
so now people are watching. Oh, it's him.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
that guy. I'll definitely watch.
Oh, that guy.
That's that guy. So brilliant. So we've got Forza versus McLaren Shadow. This is for me. I think that someone like Ibrahim has got to feel pretty confident right now. Like on the back of recent fresh successes.
Yeah, exactly.
It's got to feel like I can do anything. I'm the king of the world. I'm gonna walk this. But you can be overconfident, and then so just don't do that. Don't be that. Be humble and modest, and you will win. I don't know why I turned into Yoda. I've just become Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I don't know though. Racing against G2 Lang is if you're a fan of sim racing, he's the king. He's the Schumacher, really.
Really?
Oh my God. Although people might not respect the platform on which he has been a multiple champion, he certainly has the respect of the community because of the way he's won it time and time again. And different challenges have come in, and you know, someone like Joni Tomala who's come in and also won a rallycross version of Forza. I don't know if I've got that right or not. I might have got that wrong.
No one cares.
But there'll be somebody who does on the stream who'll
well,
be criticising me.
Well, tell us in the comments. Criticise him.
But yeah, there are so many people who've come in and won different disciplines within Forza.
Yes.
But he's consistently always won that World Championship title when it comes to it.
So I get the feeling that this might be not, I'm not dissing any of the other 14 people on our list, the invitation list, but I get the feeling this is quite a heavyweight bout.
Yeah,
this is a big, we're going to lose a major scalp at this step of the competition.
Ibrahim is going to McLaren Shadow finals thanks to his success in Bahrain.
Right.
He gets fast track straight there.
Amazing.
So that's a huge deal for him. And I have to say I didn't follow the competition that closely. But he certainly dominated both the qualifying competition and then the finals competition in front of an audience in a mall in Bahrain. So knows about pressure. It's so different to be sitting at home with nobody around you, nobody watching.
Give us a little brief rundown. Remind everyone watching. The car that they're driving is the KTM Crossbow. Often it's a favourite of the drivers at Race of Champions because it's open. It's convertible. There's no roof, so they can enjoy the crowd. And as if by magic, we have this is really proper. So talk about the engine power to weight ratio. So that's a lot of power.
It's a lot of power per kilo. It's such a light, nimble machine.
Yeah.
And it's what I think it ranges between 270 and 380 brake horsepower, depending on the version that you have. And KTM have always brought different versions to the Race of Champions. Champions versions.
Yeah,
as well.
That's right. It's always a kind of almost a prototype every year, based on the original chassis and engine.
Have you ever seen the one that's got a roof? There's a GT4 spec.
What?
That has a roof. It's
Get out! That can't be true. There's no roof on a crossover ever. You've imagined that, Ben. What?
And it's a cool. You like it because
really?
It's a bit like a Batmobile. It folds
I'd never
out
get
from
in
the
it.
back to the front.
Really?
Yeah.
Batmobile doesn't do that.
No, it looks like
you
a
mean
Batmobile.
so? Okay, right.
So it's like hinge at the front, lifts from the roll bar forwards.
Hang on, do that again. Hinge at the front.
Hinge at the front.
Yep.
Lifts from the roll bar.
Right.
Up like that.
Right.
And you get in.
And then
so there's no doors or anything.
And where are the emergency exits?
Well, that's the other thing.
And where will the oxygen mask
come
come from?
When you turn upside down, how do you get out? That classic thing. If you've got a roof that does that, how do you get out when it's upside down?
Just get out.
It's a funny looking thing. Either way.
But the cars, in terms of the way these cars handle on this type, I mean, these are, there's the rock buggies, there's these, and then the powerful cars. We get the rallycross cars, we get the big powerful cars, the wheel and NASCARs. But I think for a lot of the drivers, when it comes to Race of Champions, this is the one that is a safe pair of hands. They feel comfortable and confident in the crossbow. And a lot of the veterans of Race of Champions who've been doing it for many years, that's the one that they can, they get in. They go, oh, I feel comfortable here. It's like a nice, expensive pair of Italian shoes or Austrian shoes.
Austrian,
obviously. But do Austrians do good shoes? Tell us. Comment. Use the hashtag eROC 2019 or commenting on Facebook on YouTube or however, just send me a text.
I don't know if you know Luke Crane, but apparently he tells you that you would need a booster seat if you were driving it.
That's not very nice. That's technically online bullying, and I'm reporting you. Only joking. I can take it. Booster seat. That's a good idea. Like a turbo booster seat. Can you imagine? That would be really good, like an ejector seat.
When you go to kart tracks.
Cubs. Oh no. Sorry.
They put like bits of.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah. Oh, I've had plenty of cushions to make me a normal height, human height. But thanks for bringing that up, Luke.
Hashtag eROC 2019 for any of your observations this evening. And just remember, we'll remind you again, if you want to come and get involved and come to Mexico, you can qualify on the World Qualifiers. Open right now. You just need to set a Corsa, and we'll give you the track. We'll give you the KTM crossbow, and later on in the competition, we'll give you some cars from around the world of Race of Champions.
Unlimited free laps right now.
Oh yeah,
it's mental. You've basically got to. You can do so much on that, and I can't stress enough how much after we finish this, I'm going to go and do it. Because even though I'm already going
up to Codemasters and
I'm already going to Mexico. For Race of Champions, because I didn't have to qualify. Didn't have to qualify. Because I qualified in 200004 and I'm still in. Thanks.
Did you do any kind of qualifying?
Yeah, I really did. But I'm going. But I'm still going to try and compete to go again. Like in disguise, so I might try and win a chance to race.
Get a different hotel.
Do I?
Yeah, because you'll be
amazing.
If you're an e-racer, you get to go in the driver's hotel, and you're going to hang out with the drivers.
Dreamland.
That's what you really need.
Dreamland.
We're waiting on G2 Lang to get onto the server, having a few little issues. The leaderboard, by the way, leaderboard.
Yeah.
The leaderboard, by the way, is led by a Swede right now. Although Nikodem Wisniewski is second. He's a big name in the world of sim racing.
So this is live. This is the live leaderboard now in the time trial. So here we go.
Oh, thank God for that.
And by the way, it's 6 lights all about to go out. Stay with us, Ben. Stay on target. Come on.
It is Ibrahim on the left-hand side, G2 Lang on the right-hand side. Looked like a better start from Ibrahim for sure. The initial bite was good. And let's just see. I'm interested to see how the inputs of G2 Lang are. Aurelien Mallet, as I said before, is a pad gamer normally, so doesn't use a steering wheel and pedals. Just want to see if perhaps he is doing that here today. Nice traction from Ibrahim on the inside line, though. Very close between the two of them, but of course we do have that offset that we've seen before. Just grabbing a gear through this complex, tricky inside line before you get to the bridge. And now over the bridge on the outside, Ibrahim has lost it. Styly here. And it is a victory to Aurelien Mallet by 1.5 seconds.
Il a du classe, hein? Il a du classe. Il a du classe. You live in France.
Oh, yes.
Do you speak French?
Yes. He is class, is what you're saying.
Yeah, he has class.
He has class.
Learn your verbs. So classy work there from Aurelien, or as you will know him.
G2.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's Lang. It sounds about right.
Learn English, then learn French.
Yeah.
So now this is intriguing. So are we going to see?
Well, can Ibrahim fight back?
Yeah.
It looked to me like he drove well. But this is such a deceiving thing about Race of Champions. You try to observe, you try to look at the way that these guys are driving, the body language of the car. You think, God, that looks really good.
Yeah.
And then the time's just never there.
Yeah. Sometimes if they look slow, they're the quickest lap you've ever seen.
Yeah.
And it's just all about the deceptive nature of these tight racing and the fact that if you've got in pure control and you don't make any mistakes, but you're also not drifting, if you're clipping your apexes but not over clipping them, then if it all looks in control, then it's going to be a fast time, or it's just really slow and rubbish.
It's about rotating the car, isn't it? It's about getting the rear end to move around a bit but not too much, which is particularly hard in sim racing when you don't get that sensory rear end experience like you would in a real car. Neil Cole.
Pulling a face at the innuendo there. So 6 lights need to go out. They are all lit. Lights go out. There is a nice hold
Off we go then, and again it's Aurelien on the inside line. I think that was more of an equal start this time.
Come on, Ibrahim.
But Aurelien certainly was the worst of the starters in that first race, better of the starters in this one. We're following Ibrahim in the white KTM, and again it looks clean, but is it fast? Comes through the final turn. He does have a slight advantage, I think. Yes, he does have a slight advantage by 0.3 of a second. But what about this second lap? We follow Aurelien.
So gingerly through there. That was incredible. Like, it just go, oh, I don't want to hit that wall on the outside.
It doesn't look fast at all, but it has been fast. It was a 49.8 that he did last time. Comes around the final turn. Massive advantage for Aurelien, and he takes a 49.5,
wow.
so 0.3 of a second faster, and Ibrahim improves by the same margin, but it keeps
still
at 1.5.
Not enough. So
Not
7 out of 7 has gone
straight through.
Clean sweeps.
Clean sweeps. I wonder if we're going to get anything tighter. We also must only have 2 people in this helmet left.
Yes, it is our final first round. This is brilliant.
The drivers will already know who they are.
Go on then.
From Singapore.
Okay, Jason Tay.
Legion of Races Asia champion.
I forgot he was still in there. There's so many amazing names in here that he was like... He's like still there. Now, who's this?
And then Arthur Leoc from France. Who is... He's a bit of a multi-talented Frenchman, actually. Done a bit of everything.
Okay.
Races for TX3, which is a big virtual team. VD by TX3, they're called. They raced in the WRC. They raced in the EWTCR.
Yep.
And Arthur has done quite a bit on iRacing and is also a mate of a champion. And so it's be interesting to see how these two get on. I don't want to insult anybody, but this is probably the weakest of our matchups that we've had so far.
You can't say that.
And they're going to but I say
I think
that.
your catchphrase tonight has been, I don't want to insult anybody and then say something really insulting. Like to game platforms, to human beings, to times entire nations. So you're doing well, Ben. But yes, go on.
One of these has got to do a 49.5 to beat Aurelien. That's the key thing, because they will match up with him in the next round.
Oh, I see what you mean. Okay,
yeah.
Wow. So you're thinking ahead.
I'm thinking ahead. Whoever does win out of these two has got to be as fast as that. Otherwise, Aurelien has a fast track into the semi-finals. That's a really strong place to be.
Wow, okay.
Definitely, we've seen times in the 48. We saw a 48.9 earlier on in the evening from Mitchell de Jong, I think it was.
Yep.
But certainly to be in the 49s and the late 48s is the place to be.
It would be good if we could get if we could ask one of our massive team of tech wizards to get us like a little leaderboard of who's done the quickest laps in the competition so far in the first 7 matches, just so that we can have a look at those times.
Hey, and Actual
Vision.
Thank you very much, Neil.
What?
Because I couldn't say it.
Oh, it's fine.
I've never been able to say it. Thank you for watching. Great to have you on with us.
Double thumbs.
Yeah, because you worked with him before.
Yes.
On Dirt as well.
That's right, yeah.
So thank you
very,
very much.
Very talented broadcaster, shoutcaster.
Yeah, probably.
And what was there another message there from someone as well? Awesome to see Aaron Gillard.
Yeah, exactly. Alan Gillard has been a big supporter on Twitter as well.
Right,
Jason Tay and Arthur have been fast-tracked onto the track. Singapore versus France here, and Singapore on the inside line, I think, on the orange machine. So we're watching Arthur Leoc, and he's in the white. Looks like he's carrying good speed. Now, he might not have won that much in the world of sim racing, but Arthur has done quite a bit of real racing as well. He's raced in the NASCAR, in fact, the NASCAR that we have, and it is Arthur who has an advantage of 6 tenths of a second. Yeah,
this looks slower than the last race by a fair margin. That first lap, half lap.
We still follow Arthur. He's done what's it called? The NASCAR Wheeling Series Europe, isn't it? Or the Euro Series. Bit of a mistake there, trying to widen the track and kissing the wall. And actually, Jason Tay is going to have the inside line, and he's going to take the victory here. Comes across the line. Oh, and Arthur's the first of our crashers. It's a slow race at 50.8, but it's Jason Tay from Singapore.
Well done, Jason.
Who has won by a second. Arthur needs to sort himself out.
Yeah, because not only was he clearly on the back foot for the second half of that race, trying to overdrive the car out of that last corner, just hits. And in Beijing, if you'd hit that middle section, you might have taken out the timing sensor beam, in which case we'd had a really long pause now. But luckily, that doesn't happen in this show.
We've got no Terry Grant to do stunts.
Yeah. We've got you
To
show us how a roof goes on a single KTM crossbow in your weird air stewardess mime skills. But you could do a one-man
Terry
Grant show. I want to come do it.
I don't know how that would go.
It's like this.
Neil, that's just your bottom wiggling up and down on the screen. That's it.
And who doesn't want to see that?
You just twerked
All of
in
you.
front of millions.
It wasn't twerk. It was Terry Grant.
That was Terry Grant.
It was granting rather than twerking.
Terry,
Terry, if you're watching, we love you and we love watching your stunts.
Yes, absolutely.
When you did that loop, the corkscrew jump, it was one of my favourite things I've ever seen.
Mental.
Yeah. Here we go then. So this could be our last first round race.
It's our last first round race. We've got quarterfinals, semi-finals, and the finals to work our way through. But can Jason Tay take a second victory in this match against Artur Leok? It is Leok on the left-hand side in the white machine, and again on the inside line, Jason Tay looks like to make a better start. He has this really sinuous start to the lap. Really nice, the first part of the lap, really easy. It's really fast and on the outside line there, but that inside line's fiddly and pernickety and difficult, and you really need a car working well for you. Here is Artur Leok through this left-hand turn.
That was a good line through there, because it's double apex. Change gear and hit both apexes is not easy.
And now this fiddly section, tight left followed by tight right.
Look at all that full lock on the right there.
Not the best line there, because you've got so much more track to use.
Yeah, you could. They did no need to kind of understeer there.
But Leok is going to get this one. I think he's got enough of an advantage here.
Really?
It is going to be tight. Less line travelled on the inside line, but Leok it is. The
Wow.
first time we go.
Incredible.
1-1.
We had to wait 8 matchups to see a decider.
1-1.
So it's 1-1.
So you have to go
It
again.
has to go to the decider. Now, this is the point.
Our production team have just gone.
How does that work then?
No, we're going to be here all night.
Production team.
It's the mystery of television. It's the mystery of television. Come on.
So look at that. We got a 1 and a 1 for the first time. This is making history right now. And so we've got to see, who do we think it's going to be, Artur or Jason? Who's shown the best pedigree, and who do you think has learnt enough from those first 2 races?
I didn't see that time. Didn't see what the time was on that second race, because it was a pretty slow time.
We got carried away. We got excited.
We did. We got overexcited.
We didn't check the times, which is
50.8 was the time from Jason. I'm pretty sure that second race would have been faster.
Well, let's hope.
So, well, yeah. If they're going to fight Aurelian a bit later on,
if they've got to have a chance. Here we go. So this decider. This is
nice and fast. Well done, boys.
This is genuinely the last race
of the matches.
The first round before we get into the quarterfinals. So who will be the last name to go into the quarterfinals? When the lights go out, we will find out.
You're a poet. You don't know it.
Here we go. 6 lights go out.
Okay, a very equal start, but a quick grab of the gear from Artur in the white machine there. Quickly grabbed a gear and got himself into second. Now this tricky left-hander, nice and tight. He got it slowed down enough. This is where you want the car to be slightly moving around underneath you, get it drifting, have enough power to get the thing moving about. Jason Tay, the car thing looks really broken, but that's because of his bandwidth feeding into us. The car's completely sideways all the time. 0.8 of a second back, Jason Tay, on this one.
Yeah, I don't think he's got it. I think
sure.
Artur's got this. Unless he throws it away, unless he buckles under the pressure, I think Artur's got this in the bag.
Much nicer line over the bridge this time on the right-hand side from Artur. He has the longer line around the outside. Can Jason be tidy? It's faster on the outside line. It's very close. It is Artur. Wow, by 0.048 of a second. Jason Tay misses out.
That is so close. That is, I mean, that in terms of distance, that's probably about that much.
It's tiny.
It's ridiculous. So well done. Artur goes through.
Yeah.
And we say goodbye to Jason. Sorry, Jason, but thank you very much for giving us our first decider of the night.
And a tight decider. So here we go. We've got Baldwin and Schmidt. We've got Mallet and Leuk going into the quarterfinals in that second set of drivers. We've eliminated Pinto. We've eliminated all kinds of massive names already. I think we need a break after that.
But we can't have one. We just keep broadcasting.
Well, no, but what we can do, Neil,
What?
is we can explain a bit more about how the qualifiers work, the world qualifiers.
Okay. Let's
because
do that.
You have the opportunity to get online, download Assetto Corsa, and if you register at raceofchampions.com, you can be part of the world qualifying that will happen throughout the whole December. And this is how it kind of works and plays out. We're getting ready for the quarterfinals.
But that's the brilliant way. So if you've been watching the 8 matches we've just seen and you think, well, I could do that. I could beat all of them. I could set a better time than that. To prove it, you know, you follow the instructions in what you just saw. Go to raceofchampions.com and you could be racing against the winner tonight and Sebastian Vettel. You know, you'd be at Race of Champions in Mexico City, one of the best cities in the world.
What a place.
So make sure you go there, you do it, because it's a ridiculous opportunity and it's there on a plate just for you. But meantime, we are in the middle of the eROC Invitational. Thank you very much for joining us, and we're about to launch into the quarterfinals. So we've lost 8 of the world's best gamers.
Already.
We've got 8 people still in the game.
Here we go. So this is what we can expect to see. Banki and Tormala are the first match. Saluk and De Jong are going to be the second match. Huge names already in there.
Yeah.
Absolutely WRC champion, iRacing champion. We've got Sally from Formula One and the AOR championship there as well.
So strong.
And Tormala
such a strong lineup. So I think we should be almost ready to get the first quarterfinal underway. Now remember, quarterfinals, these are best of 3 as well. So it's a match-up. So again, we'll see if we buck the trend of a clean sweep or if someone starts going to deciders. But yeah, we are ready for... I'm going to tidy up my paperwork, actually, which is very exciting television for you. But we are into the quarterfinals, which I'm now looking at the right bit of paper on the floor. So
we don't need the helmet anymore. Helmet's done.
Yeah.
Let's get rid of the helmet.
But you do for next time you're doing a race.
You can see the chair now. There you go. Yes, I'm not going to get rid of it forever.
Oh, okay.
No.
You're just putting it there.
Just putting it there.
Okay,
just taking it out of the stream.
Okay.
We don't need it. We don't have to dip the hand in the helmet any longer.
Yep. So just let's recap what we've seen so far.
Paper?
Which one?
The one at the bottom.
Let's recap what we've seen so far. In fact, should we strike through some names?
Yeah, let's do that. Aurelien Mallet through. Nuno Pinto out.
Yep.
Mitchell Jeong through. Jorni Tormala still through. Project Cars Rallycross champion. Pankkonen out.
Yep.
Banki through. Wisniewski out. John Armstrong out.
Yep.
Michele Desalessandro.
I hope you're doing this at home as well, by the way.
Out. Yeah. Pen of death. Was it something like that, isn't it? Jason Tay sadly out in that last one. We've got Artur Liuk still in. Giorgio Mangiano out. Ibrahim out. Schmidt, Baldwin and Soltek in. So 2 from Veloce Sauber. That's really interesting to see. Is that right?
Yeah.
Got it right?
I think you got it right.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Wow.
And if you were doing that at home, you'd be very impressed as well. So there we go. We are into quarterfinals territory, people. And remember, at the end of this show, if it ever ends, we will have one winner who will definitely be in Mexico come late January.
Yeah, was it 19th to 20th of January?
Well, yeah.
I mean, the eROC final will be on the 19th.
I travel on the 15th.
Yeah, I travel. I don't actually know. Maybe I'm going to Miami first.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, just for fun.
For the final of this.
Oh,
I should probably mention that. The Rock Academy. Brand new thing for Race of Champions. We'll be launching it in January.
Is that official? Is it out there, or is it embargoed?
Now.
Oh wow! Okay.
Is, yeah.
World exclusive.
Yes.
You heard that for the first time. Tell us what it is.
What is a Rock
Are you allowed to
I'm
tell
not
us?
really sure.
Okay. Right. Well, I think he does know. He's just playing it cool.
Which I've never done before ever in my life. It's certainly not cool in here.
He doesn't know. Okay.
So we've got some comments down here. Sadur Ali. Hello, Sadur. Great to... He came with me to Manicourt and drove a Formula 1 car.
What?
Off the back of... What was that?
Was this a fever dream you had? What? I don't understand.
What did you win, Ali?
Answer his questions.
I can't remember what you won now. It was a competition on... it was a competition on... Gear Club, thank you very much, I'm producer. Right, here we go then. Racing
quarter-final, number 1. Here we go.
WTCR versus Project Cars Rallycross champions.
Mm-hmm.
Who will be the victor here? I'm going to say Yorni, but I'd love to see Banky take this one. Here we go. I don't know what's going on with their characters. Very strange in the graphics, but not of our doing. It is in the white machine. The Yorni Tormala. Let's see how he gets on with this horrible little corner. Through that nicely. Orange machine for Banky, the WTCR champion. And coming towards the line, it looks to be advantage on the inside to Tormala.
I think that's close. I think that's going to be close.
Yeah, it's going to be close, isn't it?
I think if they both keep up that pace and that consistency through the second half of the lap, then that is going to be a very tight finish.
Using all the track, just missing the apex just slightly there from Banksy as we switch to Tormala on the outside line here. He's got more speed but more distance to travel. Incredibly close between the two of them, and it is Tormala by 0.2 of a second.
Well, I predicted it was going to be close. I didn't think it would be that close. Oh. Incredible racing, and well done as well. That's incredible work. Yorni really delivering some form there. That he needed to get that second half lap. Absolutely perfect, and he managed it.
Yeah, absolutely. Very, very hard to do, and against such competition. Because the other thing is, when you're that close, you can see the other car.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have the same perception as you would do in real life to be able to turn the head, but certainly if you're on the inside line with the outside line ahead, you know you've got less distance to travel, but you can still see him on the outside line. So 0.2 of a second only between the two of them. That is just slightly too much on the throttle or slightly too missing an apex. It's a tiny margin that can be reversed.
But that's a key point as well that you've raised there, because they're racing in a stadium environment. After they've left each other at the end of the first line, they then, they're in their own zone. They can hear the other car. They might have a glimpse of it out of the corner of their eye. But there are those 2 pinch points where they go, oh, there he is. And they suddenly are aware, and you've just got to not get spooked by whether you think they're slightly ahead, which will change your game, or if you think you're slightly ahead, which makes you feel too complacent. So those 3 points in the race where you actually are side by side in neighbouring lanes is a crucial mind game. The track plays with you as you're racing head to head. Here we go then.
So this is G2 versus Oscaro. I forgot that Ben Banksy is part of the Oscaro project as well. So a big match in terms of sim racing between 2 big teams in the sport.
Ben seemed to go a little sideways off the line there. A lot of wheel spin, and he didn't get quite enough sort of forward traction. It seemed to hold him up a little bit there.
Oh, but he needs a good result
to
keep this in the competition, to keep this, to make it to go into 3. He is going to be slightly behind to the line here. We go on board with Banksy. You can't actually see the other car. You could just about see the rear wing. He's 1 second back.
Yeah, that's not enough.
It's not enough. He needs a really good lap here.
He's got to put his foot down or hope that there's a mistake on the other side of the track, but that's very unlikely.
Interestingly how he actually tried to make that corner a little wider there. He wiggled to the right to make it wider for the left. Now they come back together. It is very, very close between them once more. Who is going to take the victory at the line? And it is Yorni again by 0.2 of a second, and he goes straight through into the semi-finals. Our first semi-finalist.
So our first semi-finalist is the Finn, demonstrating what the Finns call sisu, which is a kind of a bravery, bravado, a kind of courage. It's a word that only really exists in Finnish, and he's displayed that brilliantly. But it means we say goodbye to one of our big names.
Another big name goes from Ascaro, and here we go then. From beating Kwidneski, from beating Mangiano in the first round, Tormula beats Banksy in the second, and now is in the semi-final.
And of course, Banksy can go back to painting political graffiti around the streets of Bristol and then shredding works of art at posh auctions. It's not him.
Mary Law, thank you very much for enjoying our stream.
Yes.
Just seen your comment.
Thanks, Mary Law. Please comment. If you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, then just write a comment there. Or if you are also have another screen with Twitter, Instagram, whatever, hashtag eROC 2019. I'm Neil. He's Ben.
We didn't even do that. We didn't even make.
We did.
We didn't do.
No, we've got graphics.
We forgot to do it.
No, he said we had them.
Did we?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's just scrolling up, looking at his phone now.
Yeah, it's not interesting longer. At Neil Cole, at Ben Consty. We should be doing the old Twitter thing.
Yeah, or Instagram at Neil by Mouth, which is also my racing handle, my gamer handle.
Oh, is it?
And I don't normally announce that, so another little word exclusive. What's your gaming handle?
Don't have one.
Incredible.
I know. Do you know what? I'd best not say it.
Socks.
But
go on.
I'm not allowed a gaming rig in my house. Right, racing again. Mitchell Jeong versus Sally Sultuk. This is a big one as well.
Wow, this is a big matchup. Quarter-final 2.
Go. Go. There we go. Mitchell Jeong, left-hand side, outside line, and Sally on the inside line.
Much better start from Sally. I reckon that's going to be reflected in the split times halfway round. I think Sally's running away with this, but I've been wrong before.
The last race, by the way, was 50. That last race was a 50-second race. So it was a very slow race. We've seen times in the 48s and 49s from these two. Mitchell Jeong has the inside line over the line. The advantage is 0.7 of a second, and I think that 0.7 of a second is in Sally's favour coming to the end of this race, but only just.
It was only just, but I think that was all in the start. I think they're both very evenly matched on track, but I think Sally was very smart off the start line, and that 0.7 was all in that first 100 metres.
Here we go, round that final turn. It's going to be very close between the two. I think Mitchell's just got it by 1/10 of a second.
What?
It's a fast race, but Mitchell Jeong has it by 1/10 of a second.
Wow, what a turnaround. That's incredible. Now, Mitchell just pulled that out. That kind of went, oh, I'm behind. Bang, found another gear. Bang, won. That's amazing.
Days of Thunder styling. Touchdown.
Yeah, don't even know what country I'm in, because that is these massive gear. It's on the wrong side as well. But Mitchell, well done. Nice. Superb effort. But that's brilliant, because they clearly got fired up for that. Quarterfinals is serious.
Yeah.
This is the point at which you get close to the feeling, the smell of the tacos and the tequila when you get to Mexico is there. You kind of go, oh, I feel like I'm going to Mexico. So
I'll tell you what, if Mitchell Jeong does end up in Mexico and jumps into some of those cars, I think he'll show some of the pros.
Totally.
Really, really well, because he has that experience, and we didn't have that in the first eROC of guys with proper racing experience.
Yeah.
He's already done a couple of seasons. So.
I can remember very clearly when we were in Riyadh earlier in the year for the inaugural eROC, that there were a couple of them that had never actually sat in a proper car before. Driven a car.
Yeah.
So I think Terry Grant had to actually give them a driving lesson, and then they had to race it. So at least some of these guys like Mitch could easily walk away with this if he makes it there. But this is crucial. Got to deliver another sterling performance up against Sally at this point.
Sally's brother watching on the stream, trying to support him. Can he fight back? It was just a 1/10 of a second difference between the two. Again, a good start.
So Sally's great off the line.
Yeah, very good off the line on the orange machine on that right-hand side. He's got the fiddly line to go through first. But there is no advantage whether you start on the left and the right-hand side, really.
Of course not, no.
Not at all. Sits very much on the middle of the road going over the bridge there. Mitchell Jeong in the white machine on the left-hand side. He's got the inside line. What's the split? 5. Ooh, it's closer. Sally's got a bit more in hand here, I think. He's a bit closer, but we saw that last time. He thought he had an advantage, and he lost it on the second lap.
Yeah, it was 0.7 last time. It's 0.5 this time. I think Sally could actually get this and take it to a decider. But it was definitely going to be close nonetheless.
Look at the camera. The camera really looks like it's going to be Sally's this time. A collision on the outside line, and it is Sally's by 0.2 of a second.
Incredible.
Mitchell Jiang goes slower in that race than he did last time and has given it to a decider.
Yeah. Well, you could see that he really was pushing. He really wanted it too much and sort of lost control coming out of the last corner, hit the outside wall, and of course you're going to lose valuable seconds there. But that was already lost at that point.
Yeah.
He knew, so he overdrove. Could see Sally on the inside was faster, so go for it. Luckily, they don't have to do a massive amount of repair time to get that car back out on track because there will be a fresh car waiting for him right now for the decider of qualifying of quarter-final 2.
To race Tourmalet.
Yeah.
To go up against Tourmalet.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's a really, really heavy top of this tree.
Quickly get your comments in. Who do you think is going to win in this race? Do you think it's going to be Mitch de Jong, or do you think it's going to be Sally? Who do you think it's going to be?
Sally's won three already. Somebody just said Sally's won 3, I can't. I don't know.
I can't call it.
I don't know. Here we go.
We don't have to. In exactly 1 minute's time, we will have our answer.
Mitchell Jiang on the left-hand side in the white machine, and in the orange machine on the right-hand side is Sally. Inside line again. Got the better start last time, got the traction. I don't know whether it's the camera angle or whether it is, because the orange car generally looks like it gets off the line very, very well. Reaction time was better, though, from Sally, definitely. Slower from Mitchell. Mitchell's got this long outside line to run and then try to make this corner. Oh, he's gone very deep in there.
That was very... You could have felt the paint on that wall just grazing the front right corner of that KTM crossbow. Oof. See, that would have spooked him a little bit. Now he's slightly unsettled, but the adrenaline kicks in.
Oh, I was super tidy, though, through the final turn. 0.8 of a second an advantage. Now it's swung towards Mitchell Jiang, I think. If he can run this second lap nice and tidy, very tidy from Sally. He's really good at that corner.
Yep.
Nowhere near as good as Mitchell Jiang through there. And I think that does give him this second half of the race an advantage to
Don't
Sally
hit the wall,
Sartek.
don't hit the wall, don't hit the wall.
To the line, it is Mitchell Jiang by 1.5 of a second.
Good job, Mitch.
Again, not a massively fast race, 49.6 there, but Mitchell Jiang goes through.
Wow, that's amazing. And look at that, for our first semi-final is Tourmalet versus de Jong. Wow, that's like a heavyweight final of the world. That's amazing.
And something you love, because that's Project Cars Rallycross champion against iRacing Rallycross champion.
Wow. It's like the world I inhabit.
If it wasn't for you, maybe it would be a completely different story. Here is the draw for the other side then. Baldwin and Schmidt are the first match-up, and then Aurélien Mallet and Leuk, a French double.
Oh, very good.
Quarterfinal 4.
Wow. Yeah. Well, I think Schmidl stands a good chance in qualifying. I keep saying qualifying. Sorry, quarterfinal 3.
It's late.
Yeah, it is late. Or early, wherever you're watching. Remember, we are only here because you are watching us. So let us know where you're watching from and what time of day it is, because right now it's midnight here in London in the brilliant offices of the Motorsport Network. Everyone else has gone home because they realised that they have got a chance to get into the qualifying for the eROC, as have you. As soon as this live stream finishes, we expect you to go to raceforchampions.com and sign up for the eROC 2019.
And you may be wondering why we did start the stream so late.
I was wondering that.
Well, I bet you were.
Yeah.
Well, because we had Americans, and because we had Singaporeans, and because we had people all around the world joining at different time zones.
And now we have Michael Schmidl and James Baldwin up against each other in quarterfinal 3. This is a good matchup.
So Veloce and Sauber have lost one driver. Can James Baldwin keep flying that flag against the Team Redline driver in the white machine? We go on board with Michael through this long left-hander at the start of the lap on the outside line. Nice and smooth, carried loads of speed through there, but that was contact with the wall.
On the grass, yep.
He's on the grass, he's made contact with the wall, and it's massive advantage to James Baldwin now. Surely Baldwin has the advantage after such a large mistake from Schmidl.
Yeah, that's huge. Unless James Baldwin throws this away, he's got this first race in the bag, which massively puts the pressure on Schmidl.
Not particularly fast through the tunnel there. Tidy for sure, but James Baldwin doesn't really need to push. He would, of course, have no idea that Mikel's made a mistake unless somebody's sitting alongside him watching the stream and telling him, but it's an easy win for Baldwin and a hugely fast time.
Wow.
48.9 again from Baldwin.
In the under 49s is rare tonight, so that's very, very good.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
He's got half a hand on that trophy.
And also, he showed us exactly what I was talking about before, is that he did not look like he was going to put a time in that fast.
Nope.
He looked like he was posting in a sensible time.
Yeah.
That was not a sensible time. That is a crazy time.
Yeah.
It shows that kind of the tidiness and the clipping of the. I'm just going to do my.
Yeah, you do your homework.
My
hello to Geoff Cox, who was with us in the Race of Champions last year, and is watching from Northamptonshire this evening.
So first blood to Baldwin.
Yes, but I would expect a fight back here
From Smiddle. If
Absolutely.
Smiddle can keep it in the middle of the track, then
middle in the middle.
yeah, then
Yes.
they'll be amazing. What I like about that is that he got my subtle reference, which might have passed many of you by, which is the kind of little linguistic wordplay. He went, "Oh, I got that. I'm going to say it loud now. I'm going to say words." That's why I love Ben.
I'm going to absolutely ruin the joke because you've made it nice and I've just smashed
No,
it
but
out
at
of
least
park.
what it means is if you're getting it, then there's a chance people out there will get it as well, which means my work is done. Well, it's not yet. We've got a lot of races to get through.
Jamie McLaurin on Facebook saying, "Get the tacos ready, Jambo." That is James Baldwin's manager getting
Brilliant.
half a hand and half excited about what his driver is doing this evening.
He's already packing his sombrero. Okay, here we go. Can he do it?
This time, Mikel gets under the bridge with no problems.
So that was the problem in the first race, is the throwing it away onto the grass. But as you said, you rightly pointed out that James probably wouldn't have known that he'd made that mistake, so he still had to deliver that really quick lap time.
Just 0.3 of a second difference. Again, it's advantage Baldwin, but not by as much of a margin as we saw in that first race. Baldwin you can see he's carrying more speed through all these turns. It's still tidy, but he is carrying speed. A bit of an oppo coming out of there, a bit of opposite lock, and it is another very decent win and a big slide from Mikel Schmid. 0.7 of a second is the difference. It's fast. It's a hugely fast race, and Baldwin still bossed it.
Smiddle would have beaten half the field with that time.
Yeah, absolutely.
But unfortunately, he was drawn up against Baldwin, and that's the luck of the draw. Wow. So amazing. Well done, Baldwin. And we say goodbye to Smiddle, but thank you very much. And obviously, you got another chance to go and play online and try and qualify again through the website and the lobby.
Yep.
And all those free laps you can do right now. So just get involved.
I mean, James Baldwin has eliminated Nuno Pinto.
Yep.
Massively fast R Factor 2 driver, and now he's just knocked out, I guess, another R Factor 2 driver. But
True.
What would be considered to be one of the more realistic experiences you can get online through virtual GP.
Wow.
And a Team Redline driver. So Veloce have just eliminated Team Redline. There'll be lots of bragging rights. I don't know if there is a place where sim team managers go to have a drink like the Kentagon would be at Brands Hatch, but if there was, I can see like
a virtual bar.
Yeah, I like this.
It's probably be like a poker table, like a poker game.
You know, you've got Team Redline over there, you've got Veloce over there, you've got Mercedes, Williams.
I like it.
Yeah.
If it doesn't exist, we should make it.
We can make little models of the people.
Yeah. I think we do that.
Okay. Cool.
Meanwhile,
Back to
racing. And the last of our quarterfinals.
Yeah, the French matchup between Aurélien Mallet and Arthur Lioc.
This is crucial, and what a year for the French it's been. Winning the Football World Cup. That this could be the equivalent for these two guys, as important.
What I really liked about that weekend was it wasn't just the fact that they won the World Cup in football, but they also won the Formula E Championship with Jev.
Yeah.
On the day, the same day or the day before.
He said it was his best weekend evs.
Evs.
Jev's evs. Right, here we go. So the final quarter-final. Who will make it through to the semi-finals here at the eROC Invitational?
Got to be Aurélien Mallet, a favourite here. Arthur Lioc was taken down to 3 races against Jason Tay, and Aurélien definitely the faster of the two in terms of what we saw before, but this is now a different ballgame. They're racing against each other. The pressure is mounting in the quarterfinals. We ride on board with Lang, G2 Lang, his team name and his gamer tag. 60, 70, 80. Again, not a fast speed around these tracks. A bit of kissing going on from Lang on the outside line there, and actually Artur has got him matched here.
Yes, this is super close.
0.7 of a second is about the gap that we expect to see. Artur very tidy through there though, no slide whatsoever, not really letting the car run. And now as we come towards the line, I think Aurelien has got this.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so Leok is not as good in that second half of the lap.
No, he really slowed down considerably. Look at that, because that differential there, it's about half a second lost in that second loop from start line to start line. So he's got a lot of work to do to get that second half of the lap improved before race 2. Otherwise, he's going home. He's already home. No, I've brought that back.
I can't believe
do you remember when I used to do that ages ago? Now I'm doing it again. Just hit me. Just that. Don't hit me. So that was amazing. So great racing, and that's the last of the quarterfinals because they know that there's the semi-finals are ready. There's only 4 spots in the semis. That last one is hanging in the balance. Who's going to take it? One of these French boys. So they know it's for bragging rights to be that guy in that semi-final.
Vive la France.
Vive la France.
I don't think I wouldn't want to go up against James Baldwin though in this competition tonight.
No.
Really,
he's looking really strong.
With those
times.
Both times consistently. I think even in the matches we saw earlier on, they're all in the early 49s or late 48s.
Can you tell us what the best ever time on this track is?
Oh, Neil, yes I can. F48.873.
Thank you. It's a 48.873
by Artur.
Wow. Okay, so he could.
No, not Artur. Sorry,
by James.
By James. Yeah.
Okay. Here we go. So Artur,
Leok on the left, and
Aurelien Mallet.
Aurelien on the right-hand side. Better start from Leok on the left-hand side in the white car. Definitely got better traction. A nice smooth line through that long first turn, but turns it a bit early there. Needs to try and carry more speed, and he kind of squares off the corner, slowing him down. We're focusing on what he can do because he's really under pressure to push and perform here. Amazing to see. We've really not seen very many big errors, have we? As over the line, half a second the difference.
No, you're right. There hasn't been a major crash.
No.
We've seen a couple of wall kisses at one point into the grass off after the bridge. But no, you're right. That everyone has actually been relatively sane so far tonight.
Here is Lang. Look, you can see on the outside.
Great view. That's a great view on that onboard.
But now he's disappeared, and that means that it is Aurelien Mallet who has taken victory, and he will go through into the semi-final to match James Baldwin.
Unbelievable. And that means we say goodbye to Leok.
Au revoir.
Au revoir to Artur.
Artur, goodbye.
The legend Artur. But thank you very much for playing. Now, with this, that is it.
That's
quarterfinals
done.
Yeah. We wiped the slate clean, and now we have a clean slate because we've just wiped it clean, and we have semi-finals. So we have 2 semi-finals, then a final. This is getting to the serious sharp end of the business now. So who have we got in semi-final 1? Let's have a look.
Well, this is the yes.
We should be able to see who's in semi-final 1. We shall see a desktop briefly, and then we have there Tourmalet versus Young. My goodness me, that is powerful. There's a huge amount of power behind the steering wheel there, isn't there? Mitchell, I mean, actual rallycross driver.
Yeah.
And PC RX World Champion, Yoni Tourmalet.
Project Cars versus iRacing, and then Forza, and what's James Baldwin's? Renault. Jamie, could you give us more on James's?
We need more information. Can you do our research, unpaid research work for us, please? we need more information at this point because we're drilling down into the nitty-gritty of these guys, and they're showing their skills on the track, but we need to know more about how they got those skills. So yeah, you're absolutely right. This first matchup is Project Cars
versus iRacing.
Yeah. Which is
both rallycross disciplines, but disciplines in completely different platforms. And so, super interested to see how that works out. Both guys that like the surfaces mixed, perhaps, although, Mitchell Jeong, they've both transferred their skills onto proper circuit racing rather than mixed surface racing. So it's strong, and both of them would deserve to come to Race of Champions easily.
Yeah.
But then you look at the other match, and James Baldwin's the fastest man this evening.
Yeah.
and Aurelien Mallet.
Ugh.
Forza world champion. So
We are spoilt for talent.
Yeah. Interesting that we don't have. Maybe I don't know if the Renault Championship was run on R Factor 2 or not. I can't remember. I don't think it was. And therefore, we don't have an R Factor 2 representative in our Final Four, which is kind of surprising.
Mm-hmm. It just goes to show how brutal this is and how, all the different formats, all the different platforms coming together. Oh, look.
Oh, that's nice, Tim. Tom. What's your name?
Great friends. Great friends. They've known each other for years. The best friends.
I can't remember each other's names. Oh, dear.
Doesn't matter, Ben. No one noticed.
No one noticed.
Just
really
plow
good,
through.
It's a nice graphic, right?
I missed it. I was handling the whole Tim Tom situation. Like, he was about to walk out. He was so furious. He was like, Tony over there is really angry. Here we go. So let's have a look at this again. So the final top four.
Yeah.
The semi-final 1, semi-final 2. The final will be, the finalists will either be Tourmalet, De Jong, Baldwin or Mallet, and one of those 4 will go to Mexico as the winner of the eROC Invitational, the first guaranteed spot.
Yeah. So is that Finn versus American?
Now you're testing my.
No, I think I'm.
Yeah,
I think good
Go on
here.
then. Go
Finn
on. I'll
versus
test
American,
you. Mm-hmm.
And then Brit versus French.
Correct.
Thank you very much.
Good mini quiz there
Yes.
in the middle of our show. But you're through to the next round, Ben.
When is the next round?
Now.
Good.
Semi-final 1.
Here we go.
Look, like cued that. That's like clockwork. Okay, 6 lights have to go out. The Beijing Bird's Nest Stadium echoes to the sound of those KTM engines in the open top crossbows. Oh, that's a slow getaway on the inside there. It looked like...
Yeah, that was Tourmalet.
Okay.
So
that looked like a really slow getaway.
We're watching Mitchell Jeong. He's still not nailed that corner there. He's been not looking comfortable all night going into that tunnel section. And Mitchell Jeong now comes towards the halfway point in this race. And the gap is 7/10 of a second.
Oh, so no, it's still close.
Yeah, this is still close.
That's bang in the close margin.
But it's not a particularly fast race as we now look at the way that Jorni does that turn much faster, carrying more speed. And it's kind of as though Mitchell has started with the easy part of the lap and now he's on the harder part of the lap. To the line, it is Tourmalet by 0.2 of a second. So
Jorni Tourmalet has already got the tamale flavour that sounds a bit like his name in Mexico, ready for going to Mexico. I've run out of ways of saying words, but luckily I don't have to say, let the driving do the talking.
It is. It's late, isn't it,
what?
Neil?
Yeah, it is.
Late.
It's late.
You don't normally do gigs as long as this.
Well, I've done longer shows.
Yeah.
But there's none as exciting as this. So that is first blood in that race to Tourmalet. So the Finn has got the advantage going into the second. To remember again, each round, this is semi-final 1, best of 3. So now we have Mitch has a chance to fight back and take it to a decider. Otherwise, Jorni is straight through to the final. Who's your money on?
Well,
Comment.
Mary Law is saying Tourmalet versus Baldwin for the final.
I think that's probably odds-on favourite at the moment for that to be the final. But then when you get there, who's going to be? Baldwin. You've got to say Baldwin.
Well, in terms of the maths, yes.
But Matt is all about the maths.
It's about the time, yeah.
It's about the maths. I mean, just ask Trevor over there. He's doing
the maths.
He's literally Mr. Maths.
Mr.
That's why his name keeps changing, because he can just change the fabric of maths in the Matrix, and his name is all of the names. So 6 lights need to go out.
And Mitchell Jeong in the white machine on the left-hand side.
He's got everything to do. He's got everything to do.
This. I didn't realise you're not wearing socks. You are wearing socks. You're not wearing shoes.
They're not even looking at us. Why do you have to bring that up?
Let's go. Mitchell Jeong on the outside line. We're better start this time for sure. And we now watch Jorni Tourmalet through this fiddly, slow section of the start of the lap. But this is the section that I think he's better at than Mitchell. Mitchell on the inside now should have the advantage.
So he should be ahead around the 0.6, 0.7.
0.8 this time. Same kind of time that he did last time through.
So he's fighting back.
25.6.
He's fighting back.
Yeah, but it's only a 10th difference. He'd need this part of the lap to be fast.
Yes,
And he just, I don't know whether it just doesn't look fast. It looks really slow.
But Mitch likes a jump, so, you know, taking the bridge and getting a bit of air will have done him a load of good.
He's on the outside line.
Yep.
Can he take the victory?
And that was
No,
a mistake.
He can't.
Yanni made a mistake, and that's a 49.49, which is pretty quick. Great job by Yanni.
Yanni goes through to the final. One of the first finalists then, eliminating Mitchell de Jong. Just not fast enough there.
Unlucky Mitch.
Both races very consistent, and as you can see there, Tormala is the first half of our tournament. He goes through. He will be joined by Baldwin or Mallet, which will come up in just a few moments' time. We're getting to the nitty-gritty.
Wow, that's amazing. But that was a really strong double performance there by Joni Tormala.
Yeah.
Again, just showing that consistency is everything and proving that the sort of historic. I mean, if you think all the way back to the early rounds of this, you know, hours ago, that pattern of winning one race means that you have got the winning mentality and the lines just to translate it straight into a second win.
Yeah.
It's very hard. If you don't win the first race, you're on a back foot. Everything is equal. Like the inside line, the outside line, everything about the racing and the cars is equal. But the mentality of losing one race means that you're on the back foot from the start, and that's been proven. There's only been one time we've gone to a decider.
Once or twice, yeah.
Yeah.
And the early running between Tay and Leuk, I think we took a
That's
triple, didn't we? And then there was one other after that.
But now we have a big our second semi-final. Who will be in the final against Joni Tormala? So already we know that some of you at home think it's going to be James Baldwin. He does look like strong favourite, but we can't count out Aurelien, or as he's otherwise known,
GT Lang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't count him out.
No. But I just don't know if he's got the pace, the ultimate pace. James Baldwin just looks like he's on a different planet.
Well, he has been the quickest lap of the night.
Yeah. Once, twice, or three times, I think we've seen in different races where he's just wiped the field, and he's been up against some really good guys. We are racing already in this first matchup. This is Aurelien Mallet in the white machine. He's on the slower track on the inside line for the first part. And let's see what the difference is as he comes towards the line. Bit of an opposite lock, kisses the wall. And Mallet's got 0.8 of a second advantage. This is a fast first lap from Aurelien Mallet.
Yeah, he's really brought the game to James Baldwin.
He needed to. He would have seen in the streams what's been going on, the pace that Baldwin has. And I think now this could be very close. Baldwin very fast through that last section of the lap.
Wow.
Incredible speed he carried into the final section of the lap.
He's the comeback king. And look, again, it's under 49s for James Baldwin. That second half of that was like
absolutely incredible.
Massive smashed in a comeback lap. That was ridiculous.
And those last two turns on the inside line, he turned in and the whole car was sliding, and it was sliding all the way through, and it settled bang at the point where he needs to get back on the power and through.
Brilliant.
And that is the tiny margin that is allowing him to be so much faster than the rest.
Amazing.
Because he's got that car drifting, four-wheel drift. It's so hard to do in sim racing.
Yep.
If you're not a sim racer and you're joining us as a real-world fan and you're looking at this for the first time, you don't have the sensation of sitting in a car that's moving around the G-forces. When you're at home, you're sitting behind a steering wheel and pedals, you have the force feedback, but you don't have that slide.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it really hard to do things like rallycross and rallying in sims. But this is also that kind of movement that you need to feel what the car is doing. Mallet had an incredible first lap and was ahead for sure halfway through, but lost it on that second lap, and Baldwin just pulled out a little bit extra.
What are we calling? Is it Jambo? Is that what we're calling?
Jambo, yeah.
So we really do need to see Aurelien put together like the first half of the last race, like two halves of this race at that pace. But like you said, James has got this nailed. He really understands the physics of these cars.
5 lights, 6 lights, off we go. Good start from Aurelien Mallet. Very, very fast in the white car on the outside line, and carrying good speed through the first long left-hander. Now under the tunnel.
Interesting line there, sorry, in that double kink. way further out towards the wall than most people go, but that got him a really good line into that left-hander under the bridge. So that's a smart line there.
That was incredibly good. That was an incredibly good lap, and 9/10 of a second difference to James Baldwin. Really love to see what Aurélien Mallet can do on this second lap now.
Yeah, because Baldwin is quick in the second half of the lap, so could we see a big upset here and see Jambo going home?
You can see on the right-hand side.
Seconds
Look, the car,
away.
you see the car moving around?
Yeah, he's done it.
Again, he's got a much better run for the inside, and it is.
No.
Oh, Aurélien's just got it. 0.031.
Incredible.
And we go
0.03 of a second
to a decider.
Yeah.
This is what we want to see. Oh, it is exciting. It is actually exciting.
Of course it is.
Genuinely exciting.
Well, you seem surprised.
Well, you know.
I've been looking forward to this for like since I first learnt about it, which was a couple of weeks ago. I knew that this was going to be exciting, so I'm not surprised at all at how exciting this is.
We've seen some races that have been a second and a half difference, but
that is so close.
Close.
Did you notice what the time was for that?
0. What, the race time?
Yeah.
No, I didn't. A 48? It was a 48, was it? Okay.
It's under 49s again. So these two are the class act, really. To face either of these in the final will be brutal.
Real class from Veloce and Jamie McLaurin on the stream, congratulating Aurélien on that lap, because really was incredible. And he's racing against James, his driver, and really will be flying the flag for Veloce and wanting James to get through into the final. But right now, it's anybody's between the two of them. Aurélien stepped up on that last race, found more speed and matched what Baldwin was doing. Not quite the perfect lap. We've seen James Baldwin go faster before. What can they do in the final? This is all or bust now. They've got to leave everything out there in Beijing on this track. They cannot leave anything at the table. Skim every wall that you can do as fast as you possibly can. Get the car drifting. We follow Aurélien through the first half of the lap.
So, of course, this was the Olympic Stadium, and this is to guarantee either a gold or a silver medal here at the eROC Invitational, because someone will not make it through to the final, and someone will.
So look at that first lap from Aurélien this time. He did a 50.25.0 on that first run last time through, and 0.3 slower this time. So the gap between him and Baldwin now 0.6 of a second. It is advantage Baldwin if he doesn't make any errors.
He's got it.
Yeah, he's too close going through that final turn, and it is Baldwin who does another
Jambo.
48.
That's amazing. And did you notice that he used like an unorthodox inside line for that last corner? He was on the inside of the final corner, and he was so far over, and no one else has been doing that. They've been allowing themselves to drift out. I think that was the crucial. That's what decided it. And I think he has worked out the key points on this track where he knows he can bang that one in, bang that one in, bang that one in, and he knows that's how he's winning. And we have a final. Look at that.
Jorni Tormala, Project Cars Rallycross champion, versus James Baldwin, the Renault champion from this year and Veloce team driver.
And that was predicted. So that was
Mary Law predicted that.
Mary Law, a couple of rounds back. So well done. You're correct. That is quite a final. So what we have to see is if anyone can beat James's time.
Yep. And we've seen great pace from Jorni.
Yep.
But can he do it? Before we go to the final, though, we're going to make you wait just a little bit longer. We'll just have a little break, because I know you need some water and I need some water too. So I wanted to show you how Enzo's life has changed since he took part in the Race of Champions last year, and his little video, little diary behind the scenes.
What eROC is doing, giving you the opportunity to race against and to show yourself a bit in such a big event with all the people watching around the world, it's truly amazing. You drive so many different cars there, from trucks to rally cars as in the past. Rock Academy with Terry Grant, they did a very good job. They gave us so many tips, obviously that we needed it because we were not racing drivers. So we had this test on the outside of the stadium with the Ariel Autumn car. At first when I look at it, I was a bit like, okay, this thing looks a bit scary, you know, like very tight seats. The view is quite not so clear. Like this thing goes really fast and goes sideways. Each of us did a warm-up lap with Terry on the side, and from there you understand and you can really learn a lot. I got to meet Coulthard, Montoya, René Rast, super fast driver as well. I mean, every one of them is super. Peter Solberg, all drivers that you have been seeing through TV for all the years. And when you get there and you see them, you struggle for a few seconds to realize what's happening. See how they act professionally on track and outside the track. Truly inspires you. We had a briefing and I was sitting next to Coulthard then and Lando. The way they were making you feel, it was just you were another driver. After a weekend spent with them, I think I improved a lot as a person and as a driver. Thanks to eROC and thanks to the people around it, and I got to meet. I am now part of the McLaren Shadow program, which is a program that is applying on sim racing. You get to work with a team that is an iconic, historic team. I went to participate another event with Porsche. I managed to win it, and the winner was getting a real drive in the actual race at Imola. I went to do some testing in the Autodromo Franciacorta with the Cayman GT4. I'd say I was nervous, but probably the experience from Riyadh had me learned a lot. So I was going through the day with that in my mind. And also I was super excited because after Riyadh I was gonna get a race car on track again. It went very well. I got the racing license. I am now ready to race. The Race of Champions is super unique because you get to race against some of the best racing drivers in the world. With the eROC program you get a chance to qualify through sim racing and get on the real track. It's something that many people I think dreams of, so getting to do it is definitely a super experience and something that could help you in the future a lot as well.
It's a lovely story, and what is, I mean, sure, you watching at home can empathise with Enzo, but nothing can prepare you for being him on that day and putting on overalls, fire suit, fireproof underwear first, then overalls, and then standing and being accepted by the ridiculous lineup of world-class drivers that were there in Riyadh for Race of Champions earlier this year. I mean, just imagine. It's like a dream for a kid who's grown up just worshipping motorsport and then playing it, becoming a talented gamer, and then getting to that point. Your life is complete. It's kind of life goals tick, level up.
Yeah, absolutely. And he said in that VT how also the legends responded to the e-racing and how they responded to him and the other guys and how much respect they gave them. They were really, I think they were all really shocked at the level that these guys were performing at, the professionalism that they put themselves in front of them as well. And he does conduct himself, even if he doesn't have the greatest grasp of the English language, he conducts himself in such a lovely way. Yeah. And Enzo's been an absolute star for us, and fingers crossed, Enzo, we'll see you in Race of Champions in Mexico in a couple of months' time. Hopefully you've been lots of car practice, because remember, it's the first time Enzo had ever jumped in a car, and part of the assessment when you get to Mexico, it's not just about winning on the sim, it's also about being fast in the real car. But who is going to be this year's Enzo when we get to Mexico in January 2019? Who's going to be the winner of eROC? This is the final, ladies and gentlemen. Eyes down. For the same format as before. So this is it. They've got best of three. Baldwin's on the left-hand side in the white machine, and Jorni Tormela on the right-hand side in the orange machine. They're both basically Project Cars drivers. Yeah, that's a good point. Good fact. And of course, this is the predicted, anticipated final, as Luis Felipe de Mello has pointed out in the comments. So thanks for all of your comments, everyone getting involved. Yeah, all Project Cars, fine. Oh, jump start. No. Tomala.
That's Yanni's gone too soon. And this is just played into Jambo's hands.
Not what we wanted to see in the final whatsoever. Handing a win to Baldwin.
And he's quick enough anyway. You don't need to do him any favours.
Absolutely not.
That is a disaster there for the young Finn. He's just got to recompose himself. Wait for this lap of honour to finish. And look, you can see that James is not pushing. That is a slow first half.
It's a second off normal.
So he's just decided to take it easy. He knows he can bang in a quick lap if he needs to. So he's taking a warm lap rather than a hot lap.
Yeah, doesn't want to show anything as well. Doesn't want to give anything away about how he's doing this.
Yeah, true.
Other people are watching.
Yeah, true that.
So it comes out the final turn, a 51.5. It's a parade for him.
Yeah, that's 2.5 seconds slower than he's been going recently. So unbelievable there. What a shame for Yanni. Now, why do you think that's happened? Because he's used to the whole start procedure. We're all used to it now. We've seen loads of them. So why did he sort of fold there? What did he choke? Did he make a mistake? Did the foot slip?
Somebody's saying mind games. There's a few guys on the Facebook stream I can just see down here saying that's mind games.
From whom, though?
From Torpedo, from Topis.
Okay.
As his nickname.
So you think he's deliberately thrown away a race?
I don't think so. I think it's a very foolish thing to do.
Yeah, it'd be terrible. Especially against anyone else, yes.
Yeah.
But up against Jambo, there's no way you would take a risk. Every single second that you're on track, you want to be beating Jambo. You don't want to throw it away with a foolish jump start. So I don't think he'd have done that on purpose. No. That's a mistake.
Gutting.
But it's good to see him sort of disappear in a puff of smoke like that, though. It impresses me every time. So here we go. This could be it. This next race, if Jambo wins this, he is the eROC Invitational winner, and he will go through to Mexico. So all the pressure is on the Finn.
Watch out for that right-hand side. Do not jump the start.
I'm nervous now.
So many lights go on, and there's such a hold on them as well.
Don't jump start, don't jump start, don't jump start, don't jump start.
Or just slightly slower reactions, understandably, from Topper. And now he has the fiddly first sector of the lap. Got to get the car, trying to get the car working through this bit. Get it moving around. Nice little movement in the middle of the corner there. The car just slightly slid about. Now we come to the outside line. Runs in with a lot of understeer there. We've seen James Baldwin going in there totally sideways and sliding.
He's a long way behind.
Yeah.
It's over a second back. This is all James's. My prediction is that James has walked away with this. That jump start spooked Yanni, and it's just ended up with him being so spooked that he can't deliver a proper race.
Baldwin is on the outside line, and I tell you what, Toppy's had a good fight back as he comes to the line, but Baldwin takes it. It's not a particularly fast time, but 2-0 to James Baldwin of Veloce. He is going to Mexico. We found our first man.
A high five to everyone at home as well. High five. Amazing, James. What an incredible performance. And right from the very first round, you were showing your class and you kept it consistently all the way through, which is a big part of the battle. So well done. You are the winner. You will go to Mexico. I hope you got all the relevant, passport, inoculate, everything you need to go to Mexico. Start sorting it out now because it's very soon. And there we go.
There we go.
It's confirmation. The trophy under his name, James Baldwin, is our winner.
He's making the graphics. I can't remember his name, but really, they do look good. They do look good. Wow, what an event this evening. I'm sorry it took a bit of time to get started.
Don't apologise. It's been compelling, fascinating racing. I've seen some really, quite a few surprises tonight, but interesting that the final was in all Project Cars.
Really interesting.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't say that there's any correlation between Assetto Corsa and Project Cars whatsoever. But
it's all about adapting.
It's adapting. It's about preparation as well. You can guarantee that James did a lot of preparation. He was on texting me half the time, trying to find out what was going on. And fantastic to see teams represented, G2 and Veloce in the final there. We also had Coanda with Mitchell de Jong being knocked out. Really gutted for Mitchell because I think that would have been a great chance for him. But just a tiny bit too weak, A tenth and a half. What's a tenth and a half over 1 minute?
Incredible.
That's nothing.
But great times. And if you think you can beat those times, then remember, you can qualify yourself to go to Mexico to join James Baldwin and the world-class field of drivers at Race of Champions for you to take part in eROC. And should we explain again how qualifying is going to work, or have we already done that?
We could try, and then we'll leave you guys with the explanation video, because it does a lot better than we can do it. But I just want you guys, to as many as you as possible, to have a chance to download this tracking car, to do as many laps as you possibly can, to get that time down as quick as possible. And we'll see you in about a month's time, where we'll do another of these live streams from a glamorous location around the world to find our next guaranteed spot and winner to come to Mexico in the middle of January, to join the likes of Sebastian Vettel, to join the likes
Johan Kristoffersen,
Tom Christensen, Mick Schumacher. It's been a massive evening for esports, I think.
Yes, I agree. And the beginning of the night, we pulled all of these out of your helmet, and that is the end of it. We have finished. We have a winner, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, everyone, for joining us.
Bye-bye.